This is iRacing.
Welcome to iRacing Happy Hour. We're here once again for some fun, but a little bit of different fun here at the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya. I'm Joe Peak with you once again here on the mic, being joined by none other than Peter Mackay and Greg Creamer. And guys, I cannot wait for this because not only are we going to watch iRacing get to put a whole bunch of different classes of cars on the track at the same time, but we're going to get to see them do it with AI of all things.
Well, that's the exciting part.
Yeah. Go ahead, Peter.
Well, that's the exciting part, isn't it? That we've never seen this done before on broadcast here at iRacing, to see the human element go up against the artificial intelligence element. It used to be long in the past when racing games came onto the platform before the days of online racing, you would race against artificial intelligence. Both of those games have moved on in a huge amount as well, and that's what we're going to see, this experiment tonight.
And of course, let's talk about some of those human drivers that we have here for this afternoon. Of course, we've got each of them here. Some of them real-world drivers, some of them commentators. Let's of course start with Tyler. Tyler at Maxon, you've been racing both in the real world, in fact, in this car. Do you think that's going to give you any sort of edge against the AI out there?
We'll see. They're really quick, so it's definitely going to be a challenge. They're good. They're great to race with. I use these all the time to train for the real races, so it should be good fun.
And of course, we've got Keenan here with us, Keenan Cusin, who's going to show us how things go from his perspective. Another one of our commentators. I have to admit, most of us commentators are not that fast usually. Are you going to try and buck that trend, Keenan?
I'm going to do my best. I've been doing a lot of dirt lately, so this is so out of my element, but I cannot. I have a flag to uphold here. It's bigger than me today, I think.
Absolutely. Well, Blake, another commentator, Blake McCandless here, but you come from the oval side. Is this going to be a bit of a stretch, or are you pretty comfortable here turning left and right?
This is definitely outside of my comfort zone. I'm having to turn right, which is not something that I'm accustomed to or very good at, but it's been a lot of fun kind of learning this circuit. And I've run the LMP2 a little bit, obviously, for the 24 Hours of Daytona, but this will be kind of the first time outside of that or the Red Bull Ring that I'm running in. So just a fun time to learn. It's a hot, slick track, and so no better time to, I guess, tackle it than now, I guess.
Yeah, I was kind of noticing that myself, that it was extremely hot out there. So you guys are up against it. And of course, we can't forget about Smiler Bowl being here. So what are you thinking about coming up against this? How did you get roped into this as well?
Well, I am living the dream of dentists throughout the world by driving a magnificent Ferrari GT3 car around this historic, sensational, magnificent facility here at Circuit Barcelona Catalunya. And well, I mean, I got roped into this because the producer of the broadcast said, "Hey Paul, you free on Thursday night?"
Sounds like good enough reason to me. So Paul Smith going to try his best to go from the Porsche to a Ferrari here this evening. And Greg, I can't thank you enough for coming and joining us for this. This is going to be a lot of fun, especially with your breadth of experience here in the sports car world. This has got to be wild for you to see how far racing has come over the decades.
It really has. I mean, just seeing, the evolutions that have come through, actually moving into the sort of homologation era, living through those changes, watching them fall into place. It's an interesting time in motorsports, and to have witnessed those changes, it's very competitive. There's no question about it. It's just now how you get there is a little bit different. But when it comes to driving the cars, guys, you still have to find the limit. And that's the one thing that has not changed and never will.
Well, let's take a look at the session that the drivers are going to be up against here. Basically, the race format that we've got for this afternoon as we take a glance at how that one is set up. And in fact, we're going to have Tyler Maxon, of all people, show us through.
Yeah, so we'll go in over on the iRacing UI. We'll jump down into Create a Race, and we'll start off first. So just starting off first with our session name. We'll come back and set a password to this later. We don't want, unfortunately, can't have everybody in this race today. We're just limiting it to certain people. Now we'll come down, add in our admins. So we will also come back and do that a little bit later on. Event duration is going to be 2 hours. We're going to make our qualifying 15 minutes and our race 45 minutes. We'll have 1 hour of practice, 15-minute open qualifier, and a 45-minute race. Over into the weather, today we are going to use clear skies. Temperature will be 78, humidity's 55, wind speed 2 miles an hour. Just leaving this as is. Obviously, you can do any weather you want. Today we're just kind of sticking with something a little basic. And if you want to make it totally different, you can do generated weather. The question marks there, you can hover over these. It gives you a little bit of an insight into what the option's actually changing, and can give you a little bit more control over what you want to do with your session. Go over into our cars. We're going to use our car classes. So for the first cars today, we are going to use our IMSA 22 or IMSA 23. We're going to take out our Audi and our Porsche. Then we're going to go over to our touring cars. And we will add in our touring cars. Again, we're going to remove 2 cars. We'll take out our Audi and our Veloster. Now for our final 2 cars, the BMW M-V8 and our Dallara LMP2.
Now, I'm curious, why are we limited to 8, Tyler? Is there a special reason?
So iRacing limits us to the maximum number of cars we can have in a session. Currently, that limit is 8. So we have 8 different manufacturers and 8 different types of cars we can use in this one. Now over to our track. Today we are using Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya. If you come in, you can see just like there, I couldn't see it all. Just got to scroll down with your mouse and you can get all the remaining options that are hidden off the screen. We're going to be using the historic layout of Barcelona today. Over to track options, we will use 55 maximum number of drivers. We're going to have rolling starts. You can also do standing. Restart types are going to just do double file. We're not going to actually have any of those today. Pace car, we'll use the default one. We're going to do no limit to our fast repair, so we can have as many of those as we want. And because we're not doing any yellows, we will turn off waiver rounds. Coming onto this page, if you want to set any license range, iRating range, or incident limits, you can do all that here. We're going to leave all that off today just to make it as easy as possible. Series branding for the cars that have different branding, like we do in this one. You can choose which branding we want to use. We're going to use the IMSA branding, and we will disallow all the driver aids. Now we're going to come into our AI roster. We're going to go into race, our happy hour race 1. And we will set the relative skill to be 75 to 95%. Coming over to the track conditions, we are going to start at 0 for practice and for qualifying and carry that over into the race. We're also going to leave the marbles on the track today so that we can have the little bit of an added element if you go offline. And we're going to leave the time of day as is normally and just a default afternoon with a no time multiplier.
Well, that is fantastic stuff, Tyler, and I've had to set a few of these up myself. I can tell you guys that it's pretty darn easy on iRacing. I love what they've done with the UI and making this a nice, smooth process to try and run through and get everything set up. But the one thing I am a little bit concerned about here, Peter, is while he did use the default weather, apparently with it being in Spain, it's been very sunny and it is a hot track out there.
So hot. Well, coming into this time of year at Circuit de Catalunya, it's very, very warm indeed. Track temperatures up to 130 degrees Fahrenheit. So for both our human and our AI drivers, it's going to be pretty slick out there as well. Relatively modern facility here at Circuit de Barcelona, just outside the village of Montmeló. a real Grand Prix venue, open for over 30 years now, and it's been the home of Formula One and MotoGP in the region ever since, really, as well. And one moment that really sticks to me at this track was back in 2009, Joe, when on two wheels, Valentino Rossi and Jorge Lorenzo, when Valentino Rossi stuck it up the inside at the final corner and took the win.
Yep, lots of history at this place, even though, like you said, a relatively new track compared to some, but it certainly built up its own fair share over time. So there's your quick glance at the track using that classic version, which is going to be coming back in real-world open-wheelers here pretty soon, although slightly different. But we also have a fair few of cars that we have here that we're going to take a look at on screen as we now glance at the qualifying here in a moment. And this is going to be open qualifying, but you're not going to see the human drivers out there. They're going to try and start from the back and give themselves a challenge to try and run forward. So as we watch them now head out. Now, Peter, for those that aren't familiar, you want to explain what open qualifying means to the non-race fan?
Open qualifying means that you have to coexist with the other cars in the race. On a closed qualifying, you would go out with the whole track to yourself. So this is a multi-class race that we've set up here with the top class GTP car on screen right now, the BMW M Hybrid V8. So basically beginning with an LMP2 car and then additional aerodynamics and an extra hybrid system as well, giving a combined output of nearly 700 horsepower put all the way to the rear wheels. So very quick car, and it's got to try and get its way through the traffic. And if you could have the perfect lap going, if you come across a slower car, a touring car, or a GT3, well, you're going to have your lap scrambled.
That is for sure. It's going to be difficult out there with all the cars out there at once, but thankfully the computers probably don't feel one way or the other about it. And of course, we got the Dallara P217, the LMP2 here, Greg. This thing itself pretty beastly on its own.
It is, and it's certainly been well established. Very, very quick, as you can see, 600 horsepower out of the naturally aspirated V8. And the thing about these cars is they've been very, very well tested. The LMP2 concept is the underpinning even of the new GTP category. A lot of those cars built up off of those chassis. And so they are tried, true, very well tested, and in certain conditions they have proven to be extremely quick. And it's a great place for drivers that maybe aren't in a position to ultimately in real world step up into a GTP car to drive some awfully fast prototypes, and they are a lot of fun on iRacing, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, I've definitely put in a number of laps in these things, and I believe we've got the GT3 class cars out there as well. You just saw one of our Mercs head out on track. There's one as well. And in IMSA terms, at least, Peter, these things refer to as the GTD class, but still GT3 spec.
That's right, yeah. The GT3 formula is a formula that's really been exported around the world, and we're going to see it introduced at Le Mans next year as well under the LMGT3 moniker. The Nürburgring, they call it SP9, but take aside the nomenclature, these are proper race cars. I mean, this Mercedes is a perfect example. A 6.2 litre V8 thumping away in the front of that car, rear wheel drive, sequential gearbox, and this is what the factory drivers who drive for Mercedes AMG, Porsche, Ferrari, etc., when they go to head-to-heads, this is the car that they go in as well. It's raced in Pro-Am format also, but when you see a proper pro in one of these cars, it's really, really impressive.
And what's going to be unusual here in this AI race, Greg, is, well, in regular IMSA, they don't have the touring cars out with the prototypes, so this is going to be fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, this is the class where you get a fairly substantial drop in that horsepower rating down to about 340 to 350, as you can see, a 6-speed sequentials. But the very cool thing about this category of car, whether it's in the iRacing Touring Car Challenge or in the Michelin Pilot Challenge in IMSA, is these cars are surprisingly aero-dependent and aero efficient, and they really have tremendous cornering speeds relative relative to some other cars in that same category. So I don't think they're going to be too far off the mark in the GT3 cars in the corners. Obviously, they just are not going to have the horsepower coming out and down those long straights.
Now, you can set up custom AI groups that you want, so you can race against any driver that you want. But if you look at the names that we've got in this AI set, they've used a lot of names familiar to us behind the scenes that have worked with iRacing, because it's a lot of their staff and a lot of our broadcast crew that we've got in there. But there's definitely a few others that might be familiar to even your regular, even non-racing fan. Biggest one, probably Dale Jr., who is on the iRacing staff. That's the easiest one. But we've got Cisco Scaramuza here, Peter, who you and I have worked together with a lot. But Cisco's behind the scenes and somehow magically driving at the same time. Very multi-talented fellow.
He is, yes, and I've raced many times on the iRacing AI against Cisco. He always beats me, unfortunately, no matter what difficulty setting I set it to. But yeah, Cisco's the gentle and reassuring word in our ear when we're on air for iRacing broadcasts and make sure that we're all set up. That's Dale Earnhardt Jr. Is getting behind the wheel in the virtual sense behind a Dallara LMP2 car. Now wouldn't that be a thing to see, Joe, at the Rolex 24? Dale Jr. He's still got his license, still gets out every now and again. I'd like to see him in an LMP2 car for real.
Yeah, I was going to say, yes, this is AI, but can we get a petition going for him to run the Daytona 24 maybe again?
Let's do it. He's done it before.
Yeah. As soon as I said that, I was like, wait a minute. So yeah, so there's Dale running in the Dale's AI running in the LMP2 class. And let's see, who else do we have out here that we can potentially highlight? Is we're going to look at the GT3s next. And out there coming down into one of our nice left-handers, Kevin Bobbitt, one of the bosses, one of the higher-ups here at iRacing. I actually have to email him from time to time myself on the broadcast side, but Kevin Bobbitt going to try and put down the pen and pick up the steering wheel and at least virtually, and see what he can do. But now remember, if you're wondering which drivers are AI and which are not, the orange highlighted names in the tower on the left, those are AI drivers. If they're not highlighted in orange, that's one of our 4 real person human drivers out there competing against them. So it's the rise of the machines out here, but don't worry, you don't have to duck and cover quite yet, Peter.
No, not quite. It's Paul Smith against the machines, the flat cap against the machines here. Coming back to Kevin Bobbitt, I actually met Kevin's father at Daytona earlier in the year. We had a wonderful chat in the Porsche hospitality as well. So we had a good old chat about all things Porsche, and yeah, great to see Kevin's AI out there.
Now, okay, so if any of the real-world drivers run across this guy and wreck him, the AI version of him, mind you, is the real Nimcross going to kind of sit them down here, Greg? Because Nimcross is the chief steward at iRacing. He's the one that hands out vacations to naughty drivers.
Well, I wouldn't put it past him. Obviously, even AI. All the rumors we're hearing is AI is going to create some absolute diabolical scenarios here on the planet. Might as well start with an AI race steward losing his cool and coming after you.
It's a chance to get your own back if you feel like you've been being unfairly treated.
That's true. Yeah, I guess
him in the fence.
If you've been parked for a week, you could probably still get on the AI. But Paul, in the meantime, he's supposed to be the commentator. I would hope that he knows his way around Catalunya by this point, but I think he's trying to use this free time when they've decided not to race to brush up. What's going on? Yeah,
some research into the circuit. It's a fascinating track, and I need all the help that I can get. So I literally picked this up off of my shelves back there, and I'm having a good read and look at the track map. And do you know what? I'm old enough I'm going to edge myself now, to remember seeing the first ever Grand Prix. I wasn't there, I was watching it on TV, with the dulcet tones of Murray Walker talking about Ayrton Senna and Nigel Mansell going side by side, and they mention that in this book. It's very good.
I think the biggest concern is if you're looking for current tidbits is when was that book published there, Paul?
I was thinking the same, Greg.
That's looking pretty historic to me.
That's a very good question. I'll get back to you on that one.
Well, I hope he's figured out which ones are the rights and which ones are the left there. We do still have Tyler and Keenan and Blake in here until they go racing. We will talk to them throughout. We're going to check in with Keenan. Keenan, are you brushing up on anything? What are you doing there?
Man, I'm so upset that Paul had such a funnier idea than me. It totally threw me off guard. I did a couple practice laps the other night, but the track is 40 degrees Fahrenheit warmer than what was anticipated. Thanks to whoever put the session up, by the way. Really cool of you. Didn't know the track was lava today. I mean, I take all my life lessons from Paul Smith to begin with. I just don't think I have anything in my library quite that age, unfortunately. Nothing here is slowly growing yellow.
Is that
I believe they refer to that as vintage.
I was going to say, like, I'm pretty sure everybody in the commentary booth is older than Keenan, so...
Yeah.
In the meantime, we're still waiting on Steve Myers out here. No surprise
Hurry up,
there.
Steve!
Good old Steve making us all wait here. And he needs to finish up his lap before we get going racing here in a moment. So everybody in the iRacing offices, go and poke him. Tell him to hurry it up so that we can get the show on the road.
He's just posing with Dale Jr. somewhere around the circuit. Because, of course, every iRacing circuit, Steve and Dale Jr. are somewhere. I mean, in Phillip Island, they're on a boat. Like a Lonely Island video. But Steve Myers, how is he driving if he's not posing for the photo?
Yeah, good question. Alex Saunders, one of the other ones that we are waiting on. Now, I've heard that they've made them all pretty close in skill level, so this isn't any bearing on their actual pace. I've actually called some races with the real Alex Saunders. He's fairly fast, especially in the older vintage cars that you and I love, Peter, in the Lotus 79. That might have, if they made contact, that deleted his lap. Does the AI have any idea of payback?
That is a good question. I would be very interested to know. Does the iRacing artificial intelligence bot have a blacklist? You know how every race driver is going. If they bump drafting going on in the pit lane.
What? It's Harry Radford and Lisa Hudson we have on screen. We're not claiming that the AI is perfect here, so
is this an office romance?
Yeah. All right, who's in charge of HR out on the track?
Hey guys, I do have a quick question on this. If it's AI, why would there ever actually be contact? I mean, isn't the computer up to those finite minutia to be able to determine that it should be why would there be contact with AI?
Well, they do make mistakes out there. I've seen them do wrecks. So the good news is if you go and race them, you're not going to just, be out there struggling to try and beat them, unless you're Peter, apparently. Yes. But and you can actually set the speed. That's the cool thing here, Greg, is that you can do it anywhere from 1% all the way. You can actually make it faster than 100%, which is at that point, from what I've been told, you're actually making them cheat in a way. We always talk about grip hacks here in sim racing communities. So they're actually using a little bit of grip hacks there and going beyond the limits. So looks like Tyler and Lisa eventually managed to get out onto the track and are out racing right now. Speaking of a office romance.
An actual office romance.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes, but Terry Radford, he's part of the love triangle, though. in the AI form, I'll just say.
Always
In his shiny GTP car. He just
always
comes in
have
here
this-
with his big wings thinking he can show off.
always the asterisk next to our claims here, by the way. Let's talk to our drivers one last time before we got going. Let's talk to Blake, since we haven't talked to him pre-race since a little bit earlier. Blake, coming from the back of the field, trying to be the hard charger. What's your ultimate goal here?
Again, I'm just trying to keep 4 tires on the track. I haven't done a whole lot of road course racing. Even though I've had iRacing for a long time, it's primarily been ovals, and I'm used to hot slick racetracks. We ran a 500 lap race at Rockingham last night, the 87 cars. So I'm not too unfamiliar with hot slick racetracks. Just not used to doing it turning right. So I'm just gonna try to keep up, and I don't know what shortcut Junior's found to go second in my class, so I'll have to talk to somebody about that to see where he's gaining a little bit of time. But I don't know, just out here to have some fun for sure.
Now, Tyler, you're up against computers here. When you go back to your IMSA team, are your contracts under threat if you don't win on this one?
Well, I hope not. No, this is gonna be a fun challenge. These the AI are really good. They're really great to race with, and this should be a fun but interesting challenge. I think the traffic is probably gonna be the hardest part, as it always is whenever you have crazy fast prototypes passing a lonely little touring car.
Yeah, 4 different classes, and it's such speed differences. This is going to be fun. Real quick, we'll go to Paul and Keenan here. Paul, have you figured out the rights and the lefts yet?
Oh, I know my way around the track. It's just going fast around here is the struggle for me, and I'm upset that Tyler Maxson is in this race because I'm normally a TCR driver and I'm in a GT3 car. So that's the racing driver excuses out the way from me.
Keenan, you're the young gun here, trying to prove a point. What's the assessment?
Man, number one, I'm turning 3rd this year, so you guys can keep calling me the young gun. I need that as a brain chemical today. But I've been putting a lot of work in on the off-road side of iRacing. So this is a big change of pace for me, which you can watch the official World Championship coming up soon. But yeah, I'm just going to go out here, try not to embarrass all the other GTP drivers watching, who surely will tell me that I could have went 3/10 quicker if I did something different, and put on a good show for you guys, because the iRacing AI is something that's super underrated and something that I think a lot of people in the service kind of overlook and should get into a lot more, because they have a lot of fun with it.
All right. Well, best of luck, you guys. And honestly, as someone who's getting close to 40 this year, 30 still does seem like a young
Love you, Joe. Thank you so much.
All right. Well, they're getting ready to grid up here in a second, guys. So I'm excited for this one, Peter. And honestly, Peter, this kind of brings me back to my roots with sim racing, because I used to run all kinds of races with NASCAR Racing 2 from Papyrus days for whole seasons with the AI. But look here, we've got our grid ready to go with Radford and Kennedy. Jake Kennedy down under doing well. And Evan Pasoko faring pretty decently within the top 4. Cisco Scaramuza, Corey Vervinck and Sean Ambrose running out your top 6 overall for the GTP drivers. Kim Zidiak in the 4th row with Ryan Bauer. They're racing from 8th. And then Kamir Salazar Hadaway in 9th, followed by Angela Sinopoli in the 10th position. Zach Johnson, I've worked with Zach a lot in the broadcasting world. He's going to be starting from 11th as AI will. And then Drew Adamson and Keenan Hewson rounding out our GTPs. Peter, what about down in our LMP2s?
In the LMP2s, well, it's TJ Majors who rolls off from pole position in that class alongside Dale Earnhardt Jr., making it an old NASCAR front row. Then it's Tony Gardner and David Kamer with Otto Siveni and Chad Knaus rounding out row 3. Row 4 is Steve Myers and Kevin Iannarelli with Brian Simpson and Christopher Bell on row 5. Then it's Greg Hill and Chris Lerch. And our final LMP2, Blake McCandless, our human LMP2, who's going to start from the back of the class and try to cut his way through.
Then, of course, we've got Greg West on the top of the GT3s, Christian Challoner next to him. Cole Baker will be starting third, followed by Seth Whitaker, P4. Row 3 sees Doug Hunt down in fifth, Larry Fulcher in the sixth position. As we go from there, it is Chris Leone in the seventh spot. Then Alex Horn will be to his outside. Kevin Bobbitt managing ninth place ahead of Alex Saunders. Miguel Ozuna in the 11th position, with Ben Regan, the last of the AI, in the 12th position. Paul Smith, the human, in the GT3s, down there last in that class. And of course, Peter, we have the touring cars.
We do indeed. Lisa Hudson will start from pole in this class alongside Jimmy Van Veen. Then it's Tyler Hudson beside Stephen Kurupenos on row 2. Nate DeSelms will start inside on row 3 alongside Alex Gustafsson. Row 4 will be Travis Sollenberger in the Hyundai alongside Neil Shelley. Then it's Susan Flint and Hugh Tran with Nim Cross and Nick Bailey on row 6. And starting on row 7, Hyundai young driver Tyler Maxson, our human driver, will try to take on the machines in the touring car class.
So you can see them all lined up and ready to go. Large field out there. Yes, it's a relatively long track, but we talked about it, Greg. So many differences in speed, and with such a high number of participants, I got to think traffic is probably going to be such a deciding factor today.
Yeah, I think Tyler was absolutely spot on with that. Just the closing speeds of the prototypes, the GTPs and the LMP2s over the GT3 cars, but certainly those touring cars are going to be a big factor. I'll tell you what, I think Keenan might actually be in a good spot here with the temperature of the track, and as slippery as it is, all of that off-road training he's been doing might come into play here.
And you can do some off-road racing here on iRacing. Let's not forget. We'll talk about that a little bit later as the cars roll off. We've been talking about the weather quite a bit. It has actually cooled down. It's down to 118 Fahrenheit now. So it's at least a little bit better than the 130 we saw before. 78 air temperature. Thankfully, not too much wind. Maybe some of the clouds that we've got partly cloudy will start to cool it down a little bit more as well. 45-minute race, so at least in sports car terms, this is very much a sprint, but you got to be in it for the long haul. So let's see what happens as they come down to New Holland, the final corner here onto the main straight, as the Porsche pace car lets them go. And the AI, Terry Radford, has control. He's on it immediately. Green flag is out, and they fly down towards the first corner. No split between the classes. Everybody is going to be together as our GTP cars fly into Elf, and it looks like it might be a battle for second between Pasoko and Kennedy.
Down into turn 1 here at Catalunya is always really, really tricky, hard on the brakes from high speed. But everyone getting through is, just as I say that, one of the GT3s, the Ferraris, off there with the touring cars. Oh, dear.
Paul Smith having an issue. Just outbraked himself, it looked like.
So there you go. There's an advert for AI already. Our only only GT3 car to go off was a human.
To err is to be human, I suppose, as we continue to watch our top fighters come down to the infield section of the course, and it's still Terry Radford leading, but Kennedy and Pasoko fighting hard here as Pasoko gets a good launch, but it looks like Keenan Kusin, another mistake from our human drivers, Greg.
Yeah, I mean, such a tricky, sequence of corners, and you drop down into one, then you're climbing up, and if you run wide, particularly in the top of that section of track, it's so easy to just float it off track. He gathered it up and is back underway at any rate.
Oh, leave me alone, guys. When I have problems.
And, that sounds like Tyler having a bit of issues back here. As actually, that might have been Blake. I was trying to make out who that was we were listening to. Keenan, what's going on back there? You were off course a little bit and set behind.
Well, AI is really realistic, but I didn't expect it to be realistic in the sense of if you do not go, the slower cars will just dive you. I just wanted to be patient and get away from the LMP2s, and TJ Majors had other ideas. I think the car is good, but I now have set myself a new handicap, so we'll see what we can do here.
Yeah, a lot of those slower classes. Ooh, that was a little bit scary there with Doug Hunt almost getting in the way of you. But, maybe let's just say you relish a challenge. That's your excuse, right?
Yeah. This was totally intentional. I actually just kicked the clutch and did a 360 for style. That was the whole plan the whole time. Oh, Lamborghini. Oh, okay, we're good.
And what mode have you got it set in, Kanan? Because you got 3 power modes on that GTP car, depending on what you want with the battery. What mode are you in right now?
Fear. I don't want to be the one person who doesn't finish well. I'm leaving it in balance for now. It's a long race. We do have a lot of time, and the track has cooled down a little bit, but I don't want to roast my rear tires and then have to putt around, right? So I'm just trying to just be patient, take my time. I'm in a much faster car, and I'm hoping that the AI kind of gets caught up in traffic and I can make my time up that way.
All right, we'll check in with Keenan a little bit later and see how he fares trying to work his way through the slower cars without the blue flags. But apparently down in the touring cars, Lisa Hudson leads with Tyler Hudson in second. I wonder how that's going with those two watching. And Tyler's having to play quite a bit of defense on Nick DeSelms and Jimmy Van Veen behind him, it looks like here, Peter.
Yeah, I wonder if there's maybe a bit of Hudson team strategy going on here as well, as the number 02 of Lisa Hudson from iRacing Customer Support making a breakaway at the front, while our other half backing up the field quite nicely here. With interestingly, the Hondas coming to the fore actually as well. We got 4 Hondas at the front of the touring car field. And then the Hyundai's a little bit further back. So did the Japanese machines, did they have an edge?
That's a good question here. And Travis Solenberger trying to make a pass down the inside of Jimmy Van Veen. Bad exit off of New Holland, and that's going to put him under threat because we've got Steve Korpanos there behind him in the number 44. But he's a little blocked in, Greg. Doesn't really have anywhere to go.
Yeah, the problem is you pull out, and if you pull out a little bit too early, you just catch that wall of air. You're getting a nice draft. You make that move, and suddenly it just all ends for you. And if you can't get back in line, you can get freight trained a little bit. I think that's what may have cost him right there. Again, up in the LMP2 ranks here, some really stout racing. Looks like back a few spots. Top few cars have gathered it off, but great scrap right now for fourth. Simpson, Myers, Sabini, and Kamer really going at it here.
Yeah, that's Simpson at the front of it there in the red machine, the number 5 being chased by Myers in his number 24. Again, if you're just joining us, this is AI cars that we're watching race on iRacing, as we've got 4 human drivers out there trying to compete. But now we've got a problem with one of our AIs, Peters. It looks like one of the Lambos has gone off.
Yeah, that's the number 3 of Seth Whitaker from iRacing Marketing. So there's the AI. I was going to say the AIs are human. That makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. The AIs can make mistakes too. So the Lamborghini around, the bright yellow Lamborghini, looks like the Iron Lynx car that ran in the Rolex 24 this year.
You're the one that names his own toaster, aren't you, Peter?
Yes, I am. Yes.
In the meantime, Cisco is under a little bit of threat here because Kim is trying to play catch-up in the number 99, seeing if he can get up to that number 85 machine coming up into box. Sabadell climbing. It's all uphill here, and then it plunges back down as they reach the front stretch. But here in the GTP category, this is a fight for the top 5, and Kim going to try and see if she can peel that away from that number 85. Also, just in front of him, we're getting glimpses of Corey Vervinkt out there. Actually excited to get to meet Corey in person here soon. He and I are going to be going to a real racetrack together.
And one thing that this is pointing out, seeing a field full of these BMW GTP cars, is it just me, or is it? Oh, look at this traffic coming up, and that group, and out, and then in, squared up underneath, and everybody through clean. But this is now when it really all comes good. This is why I always call multi-class road racing high-speed chess, guys.
And in fact, Tyler Maxson is getting passed by these drivers, so this is going to be a little bit sketchy for him. He's actually not in last place. He's in 12th out of 13. And looks like Drew Adamson is behind him. He's got to watch out. That guy likes to yell a lot.
Yeah, he really does. When things don't go his way, you know about it.
has his strong opinions, that's for sure.
Oh,
but
yeah.
so Tyler Mack.
Oh, Tyler gets the nudge there.
Nudge,
man.
I done got hit.
Tyler, it looks like you're getting pushed around a bit. I mean, where's the aggression? I don't think you turn to these guys too much in AI. Can you try and fight back at all here?
We'll see. This is pretty realistic for traffic.
Just block them, Tyler.
Okay.
Block them. Block him.
Yeah,
No.
you're an AI. You're not going to get hit by Nim on this. Yeah, come on.
Yeah, this is pretty fun. The traffic gets interesting.
How's the car handling as well, running the Hyundai Elantra? I understand you actually helped develop this for iRacing.
Yeah, we're doing pretty good. The car's handling pretty good. We got a very realistic setup on it that I've kind of spent some time developing using a lot of the exact same numbers that we use from our real life stuff. So it's good. It's been a good training tool, and yeah, having some good practice.
Speaking of a training tool, Tyler, running with these AI cars, it sounds like, with the fact that you can adjust the AI setting, that this would be a really good, way to develop and have, people push you a little bit more with an absolutely consistent advancement program and dealing, like you said, with all this traffic.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I use this along with my teammate before every race. We kind of go and we'll do an AI session together. Just like we're doing here with the TCRs, just to get back into race ready. Because, I mean, a lot of times if we didn't have the sim, I wouldn't see these tracks for a year since we've last driven there. Or some tracks, like we're going to Indy this year, I haven't driven there in 3 years. So without the sim, it's a really big help that I can do that and race against the AI and kind of figure out remembering how to race the track again before we ever go there.
But it certainly helps when you show up for real at a Michelin Pilot Challenge event to have that sort of rust knocked off.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's really the big thing. It just kind of keeps you race ready, and helps to refresh a lot of the things in your memory. You start doing some stuff, and you're like, oh, I remember that, as you do stuff on the sim and you get some more laps, and then it just helps you to hit the ground running whenever you actually get to the real event.
I spy with my little eye a Paul Smith coming out of pit lane. Now, they have a spare car to help them get to the end here. Paul, did you have a little oopsie out there?
Oh, I'm going to need more than one spare car, I'll tell you that right now. Really good start, got a good launch. I was making a move, and then, well, there was a wall of GT3 cars in front of me, and I may have just tagged the back of one of them and given myself steering damage, so I just had to take a repair.
All four of you guys are currently in last place of your class. How high was the speed set on this AI?
Well, let's just say that in practice, I was a full 1.3 seconds slower than the next car, so it was set quite high, I think. I blame Tyler Maxim with his settings.
You were talking about Mansell earlier. Is this your list of excuses? You're having a whinge?
Well,
I'm sure that there's somebody somewhere has published the big book of racing driver excuses. I'm going to add on that the AI broke far too early for turn 1.
Well, I was going to say the Nigel Mansell reference works perfectly, because Nigel Mansell, much like you, Paul, loved flat cap, rightly so. I mean, you can't beat a good flat cap. He also loved the Ferrari. He drove his Ferrari F40 with a flat cap on. So you're basically Nigel Mansell right now, just with more facial hair.
Never has the words "you're just like Nigel Mansell" and my name been combined in the same sentence, so thank you, Peter.
Well, you're welcome. You're welcome.
I mean, Mansell was known as El Leone by the Italians, the Tifosi. What's the Italian for mouse? Because that's how I feel right now.
I was going to say the Italian for house cat.
No, you're a bull. You're Smiler Bull. I'm surprised you're not in a Lamborghini rather than a Ferrari. You've picked the wrong animal.
Obviously, so absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I would have added to the excuse list. I talk about Porsches, so I really can't drive a Ferrari that fast without more practice.
Well, I mean, Really, if I'd have had the option, I would have picked the Porsche, seeing as I am the lead commentator for the Porsche Tag Heuer
Good choice.
Super Cup, which, by the way, June the 3rd is the championship finale there. See that? That's professional.
Yep. You picked up on the assist and scored.
Thank you very much for setting me up, that coach.
I would say you can
and the
drive
only
and
area, yeah,
but
and the
I'm
only
not sure
area
about the
with
drive part.
where he's lacking in facial hair compared to Mansell is eyebrow.
Yeah.
yeah,
You could take some beard off, maybe some bottom beard and stick it on. I think that would work quite well. I think. Now, Paul, do the prototype drivers are renowned for having absolutely no manners whatsoever. Do the AI drivers, have they learned any, have they been to like finishing school? Have they got better manners in traffic?
Oh, down the start and finish straight, they squeeze you all the way down there. They want every inch of tarmac that they can possibly get. So, yeah, they're definitely accurate. Definitely accurate and realistic in this.
Do they flash the lights at you?
I'll be honest, I haven't been paying attention to my mirrors. I've been too busy scared.
So you're a classic GT driver then?
Yes.
Well,
Hey, one thing that's fun is this battle for second in the GTP category with the 13 of Pasoko and that purple and black number 31 of Kennedy. They've just been locked together this entire race. So the AI is getting them beautifully through traffic at about the same clip and not able to catch Radford up in the 60, though.
yeah, it's been interesting just how real that is, that the traffic playing a part of it and offering up an opportunity for a great battle, as well as giving Radford that chance to run away. But let's not forget about Corey back there in the number 12. He is now hounding the likes of Jay Kennedy behind him. Kennedy thinking about it, and maybe a little bit of a late defense there. That's the other thing I wondered. Does this AI understand what is a rude defense and what is not?
Oh, nice move there around the outside. That was for Vink, guys, and he used that GT3 car as a pick to absolute perfection. Park Kennedy, and around he went.
Fantastic stuff. Yeah, very clever there. So Corey is now up into third with that move. Look at how much the traffic is slowing them down out there. And as they go by the touring cars, they're all trying to stay preciously out of the way, even though they have their own race to run. And these LMP2s having a heck of a time. No, excuse me, LMPs, I should say, as they fly down into Vert. Thankfully, finally getting clear. That's Kim Zidiak there in the 99.
Well, this is a massive amount of cars on a track that's under 3 miles in length. Peter, this traffic is fierce.
Hugely so. Hugely so fierce here. There's a GTP car really getting stuck in here, but the advantage the GTP cars have got is they've got that hybrid power. So when they get the power down, it really leaps out the corner compared to the LMP2s. It's a high revving, naturally aspirated V8. So you've got to get that power. It's developed much higher up in the drivetrain. But the Dallara chassis of the LMP2 car, Dallara is also the company that provides the chassis for that BMW GTP. So there's a lot of shared DNA there between those cars.
So we could see one of those LMP.
Somebody off in the background there. Yeah.
Yeah. Try to see who that was, and looks like Seth Whitaker, I think, in the 3. Unfortunately, that's not the first time he's had an off. Saw a bright blue 82 LMP getting clogged up. That was Drew Adamson. The AI is getting so real that actually I thought I heard it get on the radio complain that it was being blocked.
I'm sure I heard that too.
Yeah, I can hear it now.
Tyler
Yeah, it's
Maxson in this slower class traffic just getting in the way of his motor race.
Yeah, this is getting so real. In the meantime, Chase checking out the battle for 4th. Earnhardt Jr. here in the LMP2s, trying to hold off the likes of Brian Simpson just behind him in the number 5 as they also tiptoe their way down through Sayat. Such a difficult corner, Peter, with the way it drops away.
It is, yeah, real change of elevation there, and then hard on the brakes for that little flip up through Verth, and then the sort of blind right-hander here of Kampsa. Tricky, and you can hear that LMP2 is having to get in and out the throttle all the time, waiting for their opportunity in traffic. and just getting through. Now, coming back to the Dale Jr. for LMP2 at the Rolex 24, we need to make this happen. He will reach, he's probably still a little while away from it, but at some point he will reach a certain age that will then change his FIA driver ranking to a silver.
I like the way you
think.
think.
It's very important for LMP2 because you need if my memory serves, you need either a silver and a gold or a bronze and a gold. And then for the LMP20, for Rolex 24, you have a spread of driver rankings also.
That's Tony Gardner that we just saw in the number 2. Loose Lips has moved himself to the top spot here in the LMP2s, past Otto Zabini and TJ Majors. So very good catch from Tony. And unfortunately for TJ, he has dropped 2 positions in that. He was our leader and is now down to P3. So Brian Simpson trying to play catch up while he can, and that car up ahead of him has been slowed down as they return into Repsol.
And one of the fascinating things to me about this track is it doesn't have massive elevation change, but as you guys know, every bit of elevation change it has is critical. It all comes in certain positions, and a lot of it downhill, making off-camber turn-ins into important corners, or as you talk about up through turn 9. I mean, you're basically turning in blind, and you're cresting the top of the hill at absolute full chat. The car just gets light, and it comes back on itself. It's got amazing texture to it that is all really important.
Yeah, and that's one of the unique things about this place. I think that gets overlooked often. But here we're watching Jimmy Van Veen, currently in 4th place, who is being hounded by Steve Kerpenos back behind him in the 44. But at the moment, he's going to hold ahead up to Alex Horn now. In the meantime, in the number 30, he's got Ben Regan directly in front of him. Alex is another one I've worked with a lot because he does a lot of the video work actually here on iRacing.
Yeah, I like the paint scheme Alex is running there as well, as Chad Knaus is trying to get by in the LMP2 car, but can't quite get it done. It's a bit of a roadblock, but yeah, I'm liking the paint scheme on the Alex Horn Mercedes there. It's quite close to the Green Hell Mercedes special livery that Get Speed ran at the Nürburgring last weekend. So cool colours there from the Michigan State alumni.
Yeah. So I was just going to say that's the reason he's got that green right there. There's actually a wreck behind him that we couldn't quite. There it is. You could just see it on screen there as Keenan Cusin was the one that was getting in trouble. And do we still have Keenan in here with us? No, it looks like they've ducked him out of the booth for a little moment. Maybe he just needed some time to focus, but his troubles are certainly not over. Keenan's now with us. And Keenan, looks like you had a little bit of a hairy moment there through Renault.
Oh, Chad Knaus. Oh, no, crew chief Chad Knaus. Oh, I'm gonna die again. Oh no. Oh, it's all kicking off here now. Oh God. Oh, I'm okay. It's fine. I gotta slow down. Tyler will clear it. It's good. It's fine. Okay, now I can talk. How's it going, guys?
It seems like yeah, I was gonna say it seems like it's going quite well for you.
I need to tell you. Oh, Chad. You're not even here, Chad. This is so very realistic in the sense I tried to pass a GT3, and my man went, "Don't worry, I'll move," and I about killed him. Alex Saunders just didn't see me, turned right into me. It's like I'm in an IMSA session right now. It's great. I'm having fun. Genuinely, not sarcastically, this is really good traffic practice to anybody wanting to do one of iRacing's many special events. Just trying to time your passes and knowing, okay, well, I can't pass here and I can pass here and maybe make it on the brakes, and just kind of finding your danger spots. Obviously, with AI, you can be a little bit more silly and kind of see where your limits are, but even back here, like kind of racing on my own, I'm getting really good traffic practice.
It seems like it, and I know you're dealing with a tough situation because you got put on the
nice
back foot since the start.
Go away, Chad. What do you even do anymore, Chad? Thank you.
Make life interesting for you, apparently.
Yeah, you can make life interesting to me by sending me a check, Chad.
Well, it was a nice fight back.
Oh no, human against human now. Keenan,
last time I tried this, I spun. So
Blake.
Last time I tried this, I forgot what the brakes were.
All right,
so Blake's in the 17 car.
I got my hands full with
The red one.
Kevin Ironarelli right now.
I got this, Blake. Don't worry.
All right, good.
Oh, maybe not. There's GT3s.
Going by.
I had an idea.
He's passing you for track position right now. That's for overall. You're giving away pride right now, Blake.
Nope. It'll work out. Watch. It's us versus them here, guys.
Okay.
There's a yeller. Greg West is backwards.
Yeah, he's a class leader, I think.
Tragedy has befallen Greg West.
Oh, he's stuck.
He's very good at going downhill. That was his career before working for iRacing. So
Unfortunate.
For those that don't know, Greg was a professional luger in the Olympics, so that's what I'm referring to. But
Oh, you said loser. Okay, I
He'd be
thought you got
perfect.
really rude there.
He'd be perfect. He'd be
That was
perfect
the
at
meanest
Mount
thing I've ever heard on
Washington.
twitch.tv/iRacing. Oh my god.
He'd be perfect at the Mount Washington soapbox race when you let off the brake on the Formula V and roll down Mount Washington. He'd be brilliant at that.
That's got to be happy hour next year or next month.
Yes.
meanwhile, Pisoko and Radford are going to fight for the lead.
Spun again.
Two of our commentators, and side by side, Pisoko going the long way around. Can he make this stick? He's going to be on the outside coming into Renault. No, looks like Radford's going to go back
2
by,
for
and
1.
Kennedy sneaks by.
2 for 1 there. The 31 of Kennedy getting past. It looked like Pisoko was going to take the lead and then got absolutely boxed in there behind the yellow Lamborghini.
Now we got a bunch of cars pitting because these LMPs cannot make it the full 45 minutes. So I see Ambrose and Napoli are all in pit lane taking fuel and on their way back out. Looks like Drew Adamson, Ryan Bauer, all in and out. So that could give them a chance on if they could maybe leapfrog a few. And what's interesting is you can also alter the intelligence on strategy with your competitors with AI. So they really get into the weeds on this. That's what I love about iRacing. They don't do any of this halfway, as it looks like Blake McCandless is somehow going to take over the lead, but I think this is temporary.
Yeah,
So
every single car in front of me pit, so not through pace, but you know what? We got clean racetrack in front of me, so we'll take it.
So with the strategy, Joe, you can set it from anything from Roger Penske and Tim Cedric to, modern day Ferrari F1.
I thought that's exactly where you were going to go with it, to be honest. Yes, you can, poor Ferrari.
Thank you, Peter. You just had me off the track with that one.
But yeah, you
Said the
can.
Ferrari driver.
You can definitely alter that as you desire, the strengths, any of the strengths and weaknesses of the cars.
So is Blake going to therefore have to make a pit stop as well at some point?
Yes, I believe
I'm
he
gonna
should.
have to.
So you're going for the overcut big time then, aren't you?
I'm just gonna take advantage of clean racetrack while I got it.
Yeah, exactly.
Around any traffic. As soon as I get around traffic, I think I'll probably head in.
Well, how many more laps have you got? I mean, you're not spilling any secrets here. I don't think the AI can hear you.
Well, I got about 12 laps left of fuel. Honestly, that's kind of close if we're cutting it at 45 minutes. I mean, that's that might be worth looking at, actually.
I say take a gamble.
I mean, I did a Road to Pro race at Watkins Glen that was 35 laps and I never pit, so maybe we'll try it again. Who knows?
All right, we'll see.
Meanwhile, guys, up front, overall, the 31, Jay Kennedy, has gone to the lead and has opened up a pretty sizable lead as well for the Sim Speed producer.
I'll try to refresh my memories of Casey Kerwin, who can drive this car and clutch it and do all those things. I need to channel some of that a little bit. Somebody
Exactly.
just followed me on Twitch, even though I'm not live, so thank you for that.
He's just that good. Meanwhile, Keenan and Blake are going to be racing here. And,
I will win the LMP2 class. That's my goal today.
He switched the hybrid system off, so he wants to be an LMP2.
Oh,
Big block from the
Paul,
Ferrari.
catch the fit, Paul. Oh, no.
Massive block.
Why did you move? Why did you? I could
Classic GT car.
Paul, you will face retribution for your crimes.
I am being a dentist right now, okay?
I already saw a dentist. You can see my tooth's not there. I don't need you too.
That'll be $1,500, please.
Is that in
how
British
did-
pounds or Canadian dollars?
Why not both?
They don't fit rear view mirrors to Ferraris because there's a big engine behind you. So I mean, you're not going to look in them anyway. So
Just means I get to
They're
pass
all
Blake for the
collective.
15th time today.
I was about to say, every single time that Keenan gets about 3 car lengths ahead of me, he goes off track or spins or something happens.
In my defense, only 2 of those times are my fault. The other 2, I'm innocent.
Gotcha.
I just hear lots and lots of excuses today. I don't know what you guys.
I'm a racing driver, Tim.
Uh-huh.
You know, that's my job.
Apparently.
Yeah, I
It's,
just hit turn 1 better than I'm going to hit it all day. I was really proud of that.
What amuses me most about that is that 3 of our 4 human drivers managed to get together at the same time, and of course they all went off and got in each other's way as they all approached. So this is not making you guys look that great against the AI today, I have to admit.
Yeah, imagine what somebody skilled could do with this tool in AI, which you can get right now by going to iRacing.com and activating your subscription and being able to use this. You don't even need to pay for sessions to use the AI in single player. You can use it right now at iRacing. Whatever the link is. You guys are the professionals. You should know.
Your check's in the mail.
You're welcome.
So we go back to Sean now in the meantime. Sean Ambrose. I actually worked with Sean a lot of years. He and I have run GSRC until he left to work for iRacing, and now works on the broadcast team in iRacing. That number 71, unfortunately, pretty accurate to the real thing. He's down towards the lower positions here in his class.
did he make a habit of fighting? Did he make a habit of fighting with HR when he was at GSRC, Joe?
No, we didn't really have an HR department, to be honest. We're such a small company.
No, that Disco Dawn was HR, I think, and accounts and everything else.
Yeah, that's probably about accurate. So no, I can't remember any big arguments there. But right now he's trying to make an argument with HR at iRacing, because that's what Kim does up there in the 99. And I've botched her name a million times already, so apologies, Kim. I'm gonna try a more proper stab. Ziadik. Is that the better way? This is HR, so I'm probably gonna get fired.
I'm sure you'll be told if you're wrong.
So we've got Otto Zabini now coming up behind on Blake as well. Now Blake has not pit yet. Zabini, actually, I'm seeing about 14 and a half seconds, so that's quite a gap. So he's not exactly rushing up the rear spoiler at this point. But we'll have to keep an eye on the pace. Last lap was a 38.8 for Blake. Otto was a 33.0. Holy cow.
Yeah, I caught a lot of traffic. I'm probably closer to about a 35 or so on pace, or maybe like I don't think I've gotten a 34 yet, but it depends on how much Otto gets held up in traffic. I'd pass a lot of traffic. And if I spin out, because my tires are kind of shot at this point.
And the overall lead's going to be coming by. Also went by Tyler Maxon, who is
that a change for the overall lead?
Yeah.
may have
It
been.
was.
Vervinkt
It's
now
so
ahead
cool.
of Kennedy.
Yep, I think that it was another pick move, and well, I'll tell you, this AI has got that dialed.
We're letting Corey win? Oh, no.
Okay, Cisco's. Cisco's got to move up to third. Oh, Tyler's getting bullied around. Oh my goodness me.
I can't confidently say that Corey is one of the young guns at iRacing. He's what, got his 13th birthday coming up, I think?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yep. They're going to give him a cell phone soon.
He's not a young gun, he's a little pistol.
Tyler
I tell
Maxon.
you what, Tyler's still got that factory driver smile on the go, though. He's been practicing that.
Always.
He's not to do now.
I'll tell you guys, the speed the prototypes go by, the TCR cars is just amazing, isn't it? The closing speeds,
It's scary.
it really is.
Block him.
You've got Nim Cross. Got Nim Cross back there.
I'll tell you what,
Chase,
Tyler's of our 4 humans. I know Blake's out front, but he's still due a pit stop in the LMP2 category. But Tyler has moved up and gone around 3 of the cars, so he has really got a solid run going. You can see His,
Your only hope, Tyler.
his skills are there. Oh,
A little wide
and
down
him
for
cross and
Sayok.
make a mistake. Yeah.
So
Don't hurt me, Deb.
Yeah, he doesn't. He makes the rules. He doesn't follow them.
There you go. I've helped you there.
Oh,
There goes the fun manager of the Ferrari.
Vacation incoming for Paul.
the dentist just pulled Nim's tooth.
I like this new nickname for Paul. We'll keep this one going. Paul currently running 13th out of 13 down there in the GT3s, though. But yeah, I have to agree. Maxon doing fairly well here down in that TCR category. Although McCandless is still leading, but as we've said, he hasn't taken a stop yet while all his rivals have. But we don't know how the strategy is going to go on that. We are down to 12 minutes left, so it's getting towards the end of it here, Peter.
Joe, are in the GT3 regulations for the FIA, are movable aerodynamic devices allowed?
That
I don't think they are. I think we might have to disqualify Paul Smith because the amount of movement on his tongue when he's going around corners is a movable aerodynamic device. I'm sorry.
He's not
He's going to catch the attention of the stewards. Yeah, that's not homologated.
That's just a G meter.
Listen, I'm doing everything that I can that all sim racers do. So I'm giving the sim racers lean. That's worth at least a tenth of a second.
The veal
I've got
move.
the tongue out because I'm concentrating.
Paul, did you paint that car in the dark? I mean, that combination.
Yikes.
Yeah.
I'll have you know that this is the combination of colours that we had at my rugby team as our first ever kit. So how dare you offend me and my fellow rugby players?
I did not
How
expect
well did that rugby team do?
response.
Silence. It's deafening.
I feel very bad.
Thank you. Thanks for the update, Sir Isaac Yankum. I've been waiting for that joke for the last 5 minutes. Thank you.
Sir
I don't think
Isaac
they even
Yankum.
needed to bring the commentary team in. We could just let these four have fun out there.
I know. These AIs are going to put us out of work. Oh wait.
Right again!
Wait, how come Tyler gets to clear his own black flags? What the heck?
Yeah.
Did he
It's,
actually?
it's not a black. It's I bent the steering both directions, so I am just not going to pit.
Oh, okay.
Oh, so it's a black and orange flag. Okay, so
Oh,
Yes.
Hang on a second, so that was an option when I had damage? Come on, Tyler.
and someone's going to be in trouble. HR just got taken off track. That was Kim in the 99,
Oh
unfortunately.
my God! Hold on! Hold! I've overtaken someone! That's a move for position. We're moving up, gang. Don't you can if you can dream it, you can do it.
Keenan, do you need a heart monitor right now? Because
I might.
Yeah.
I see Sean Ambrose. This is for getting me to do all those max bants at 5 in the morning.
That's up to 12th now for Keenan. Sean about 4 seconds up the road for those who are curious and actually are following the race proper here. I think we've covered about 5 minutes of this 45 minutes of actual racing. And Whitaker was in the wall. I believe that was after contact, unfortunately, with Kim in the 99. So
Yes, good. Give me positions.
let's see, where are you now? You're up to 12th. Miguel Ozuna did he have a tow? Seth Whitaker's got a meatball flag, so he's going to have to take a pit there. That was
I
from
think
the contact
you're going
with the
for
wall.
the undercut, Paul.
Oh, my tires are very angry right now, I can tell you.
Well, what level traction control you got set?
All of it. All ABS, all traction control. I need all the help that I can get right now. No, Leo.
And still you've burned them out. You gotta get Harry
Hey.
Hogg out there with you.
and hey guys, Tyler Maxon just picked off Neil Shelley, the AI Neil Shelley.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at it.
We got a replay here coming up.
Hey,
of
Tyler,
the
I gotta slow
incident.
down. Can I get that cleared?
I didn't know that was an option. Yeah, good thinking.
Uh-oh.
Oh, I did.
Oh, so Tyler Maxon was the one that made contact with Kim that initiated these issues. Let's see. So we're hearing he's going to have a little bit of a run-in with the curb. And Kim was, Kim was slowed up by the traffic. That's how she got behind him again. And he just kind of drifted out. You didn't get a 4X or anything for that there?
Shuts the door.
I didn't know I even hit her. Sorry, Kim. Please don't fire me.
Hi, Paul.
Kim's got damaged suspension there too.
Hi, Paul.
I blame my damaged suspension and toe.
And one never wants to, trash HR, but that was a pretty optimistic outside move.
True. Yeah, I'll give him that.
That window was closing in a hurry.
Yeah, I think as unofficial stewards here, we can wave him a little blame in that sense. So we'll continue to watch the 17 out there work his way around. Blake McCandless still leading his LMP2s. Got a battle for second, though, down to the GT3s. This is between Doug Hunt and Larry Fulcher. Doug's been around a long time, but Larry is a new hire onto iRacing, trying to endear himself to the team. It's going to try and do that by overtaking Doug Hunt for second, at least as AI. Again, we want to reiterate for viewers that are just tuning in, this is AI racing, other than 4 drivers that we've got out there who are real human beings. Meanwhile, overall lead also has come back together, and we've got that up top at the top of your screen. That's Corey Vervinkt and Jay Kennedy.
So it looks, we still haven't seen a pit stop yet from Blake McCandless. He must be really getting low on fuel now in that Dallara P217. That Gibson V8 will be running dry of fuel very soon.
Alex Horn. Sorry, I just got hit by Alex Horn. How dare he?
So he used the chrome horn on you?
Oh. Yeah.
You had to have seen that one coming.
Joke of the hit.
I mean, he could have warned them on the way. He could have warned them on the way there by hitting the horn, sounding the horn.
Oh, no.
Oh!
That green Mercedes is Alex that you see on screen. There's Tyler Hudson, who is one of our AI, trying to defend on Paul, but is in a different class, so a little bit unnecessary there from the AI. As I can tell you that I've been keeping an eye on McCandless, and he is still out there, and by about 6 seconds right now, so it's been cut down pretty significantly. Paul, you're getting a little close there.
It's all good. It's fine. No worries. Plenty of room. No contact. It's all good.
Shouldn't you be faster than the touring car?
Shush. Minor details.
And Jay Kennedy over Corey Vervinkt, so a change for the lead once again. That's got to be about the 6th or 7th one we've had in this race. Gonna go by Blake, who were just watching there not long ago. Here you see him in the number 12.
McCandless surely needs a pit stop. After he's the only driver in the LMP2 class that hasn't pitted yet, so that car must be running really low on fuel. He's gone the big fuel save.
If only we could find out what his fuel was. Oh wait, hey Blake.
We got just over 2 gallons left, which is like
get you home.
right at 3 laps. So that's why I'm kind of glad I got lapped, because hopefully we'll cut a lap or 2 out of this so that I can maybe make it.
Well, I've got to tell you, Blake has done a superb job of keeping Sabini's AI at a relatively small gain each lap. I mean, it's taken him a long time to trim down that large chunk of time.
I think there's only 2 more cars though, so
yeah.
Can we point out
now or never? We're kind of just sending it to the end, and hopefully we make it.
As we're going to look at the battle for second in GT3 here, I just want to point out the irony that if one of our human drivers wins, it's going to be on the one thing that I would have expected the AI to do a lot better at, and that's strategy.
Yeah, and fuel calculations. You'd think that'd be a no-brainer for AI.
So overall lead now approaching this battle is
Vervicta's got a really good run. I don't know that he's got any room to do anything with it, though.
Oh, well done.
Oh, except Kennedy got parked.
Yeah, and they're all going to squeeze together down into Elf here and into Renault. Just enough space down to the inside. Vervinkt going to manage to hold on, and they are clear of the traffic, so it's going to be a straight fight for a little bit.
And that traffic was at the second in GT3. The two BMWs duking it out, Fulker and.
Oh, Paul.
It's just a scratch.
A flesh wound?
Yeah, it's just minor.
Why are you left hand down, then, Paul, going down the straight?
Just minor.
Stretching your
damage.
elbows.
It's been such a hard race, I've got a bit of a sweat on, so,
They're doing a deal.
GTP'd is what
I think you look up toe out in the dictionary, and that's your shot right there.
They're doing a deal at QuickFit at the moment, Paul, where you can get your alignment checked. I suggest you take them up on that offer.
I need more than QuickFit. I need Halfords. I need every other ATS, Euromaster, everyone.
The leaders are pitting. The leaders are pitting.
Circles.
Jay Kennedy, Corey, and Cisco all with pitting in on in sim right now.
Look at that.
They have not pitted yet, though, so this... Let's see, Terry Radford's the highest who has pitted. He's about 26 seconds back.
How long's the pit stop, boys? I could come back from this.
Cisco goes in.
Don't move, Paul.
And
It's Radford might get them, guys.
Yeah, but he's got Pasoko. The two of them have been just linked together throughout this entire race. They led early and then dropped back with the pit stops, but they've never been separated by more than a second. Oh, boy.
They're on their way. And Terry Radford's coming out of the final corner, but he's not anywhere near. Jay Kennedy, Corey Vervinkt, and Cisco Scaramuza ahead by roughly about 4 seconds or so to the nearest car. So they look like they have a healthy lead. And also, because of that pit stop, is this the last lap?
It is.
That was a bizarre situation all the way down to the very end of it. So yes, it's white flag lap here. It would have been 2 more, and this helps Blake McCandless, I think, doesn't it?
If I can have somebody finish in front of me to end the race, yes. If I have to go another lap around, I can't make it on fuel.
Oh, Blake's in a battle for the lead, rather. Otto Zabini, and he's going to try and go around the outside. Contact made, but Otto gets through. No, he doesn't. They come together.
Oh, Blake, he almost had it. He almost had it.
Gave it my all.
Oh, he did.
AI slowing to try and not run into him as he's got another car trying to come up the outside, sends him off into the runoff. And that was Brian Simpson making the contact. Oh, and he's going to spin again just in front of our leader as there goes Jay Kennedy coming down through Europe car and into New Holland. It is going to be a win in the LMP class for Jay Kennedy.
First use of Speed TV.
Just saw off the challenge from Vervinkt there, but as Greg said, they were so close all the way through the race.
And I think Lisa Hudson going to be our next one battling for a win with Tyler. Is this going to be an awkward dinner table afterwards?
This is going to be the Van Tours at the Nürburgring 24-hour all over again.
And there is Otto Zabini, who is looking like he is going to take the win in that class. But there is Lisa taking the win down in the TCRs over Tyler Hudson. And Tyler is a former iRacing champion on the eNASCAR side. So I think Lisa's going to be touting that one over him for a while. Meanwhile, Cole Baker, haven't really talked about him a whole lot in the GT3s, is your winner down in that class. He works with Alex Horn on the video, so a man after my own heart. I come from a video background myself.
Where is TJ Majors?
And did Zabini already complete his run here? He's going awful slow, but he's still our leader. He is on the lead
He
lap.
run out of fuel.
I don't.
Just pacing back. Okay.
All right, so that.
I'm looking for TJ Majors. I want to have a discussion.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to throw some ones and zeros at him that he's not going to like very much.
Keenan going to pull a Days of Thunder here, put some fresh ones on it, and go back out.
I just want to talk to him. That's all. I just want to talk to him. Just want to wonder why he dive bombed me in lap 1 in a slower class.
Well, that is also one of the advantages, I suppose, of AI. You can get the steam out after the race that you can't necessarily do with real drivers. But we've got our race results as well, while our real-world drivers have a little bit of fun post-race here. Blake was out in the grass for a moment, but...
running out of gas. That's what I was doing.
Trying to shorten the course. Okay, let's look at our finishing order. So starting with the GTPs, Jay Kennedy up on the top step with Corey Vervinkt in second. Cisco Scaramuza finished in P3. Terry Radford was fourth, followed by Evan Pisoko, P5, and Camilo Salazar Hadaway in sixth. And Juliana Sinopoli was P7 with Zach Johnson racing up from 11th to get himself in 8th place. Drew Adamson also up 3 to get a P9. Ryan Bauer wound up 10th. Sean Ambrose, apologies for being a little rough on you. I love you, bud. He finished 11th. And Keenan Kusin is our first human driver of the night. He finished 12 out of 13. The only driver behind him, Kim Ziadek. But Peter, what about our LMP2s?
In LMP2, it went the way of Odo Sebeni with our human Blake McCandless putting in a big fight towards the end, but just came up short. Greg Hill was second. TJ Majors was in third, but at what cost? With Keenan Kusin wanting to have a word afterwards. Chris Lerch was fourth, followed by Tony Gardner. And Dale Earnhardt Jr. rounds out the top 5. Steve Myers was 6th in the LMP2 class. Then it was Dave Kamer, Brian Simpson, Chad Nowes, Kevin Iannarelli, Blake McCandless, and Christopher Bell.
If we get to the GT3s, Cole Baker was your winner. Larry Fulcher, newcomer on iRacing. His AI wound up second. Doug Hunt was third. Chris Leone, P3 for him, followed by Christian Challoner. One of the vehicle dynamicists on the game is going to wind up in fifth. And it's been Regan 6 and Alex Horn, P7. Alex Saunders wound up in 8th. Kevin Bobbitt, the big man, wound up in 9th. Greg West, the top 10 for him. Seth Whitaker, Miguel Ozuna, and Paul Smith going to round out your field. Unfortunately, our human being beat down to the GT3s there. Peter?
Down in the GT3s, well, in the touring cars, excuse me, we had Tyler Hudson taking the win there. With Nate DeSelm, Stephen Coropenos, Jimmy Van Bain, and Alex Gustafsson. The Honda's looking very strong in the touring car class. And it was Travis Sollenberger with Susan Flint, Neil Shirley, Tyler Axon, our human, not coming home last, but near enough, with the last few coming over the line. A tough day for our humans. Wonder if they can do any better next time.
Yeah, that'll be a question mark, but we'll get to answer it once again in a moment, because we'll have more of the racing. Before we get to that, let's go to Greg first. This was probably not your typical race that you've ever gotten to call, I think.
No, it was different, but it sure was fun. And the one thing that really impresses me here, guys, is when you look at the strategy up front in the GTP category, that AI played out actually very close to real life, because the guys that ended up winning stayed out late. They did the overcut. When the others pitted early, they ended up with clearer track, and by the time they completed their pit stop, they were still up by about 4 seconds, and that came down to not having to deal with as much traffic. That impresses me a lot. This AI is definitely on it. Tyler?
Yeah, so we'll get ready to jump into our second race tonight. So back on the iRacing UI, we'll head back down here, do the exact same thing we did for the first session. first starting off with a name. We'll add in the password here in just a little bit. We're going to launch this session now. We'll come back and add in our admins here in a little bit as well. Come back, we're going to first set our event duration over to 2 hours. Have our 15-minute qualifier and 30-minute race. So we'll set that down to 15 minutes. Jump over here to our weather conditions. Again, we are going to have clear sky, 78 degrees, 55% relative humidity, and 2-mile-an-hour winds around the racetrack. Now, for this second race, we're using a little bit of a different car. So we're using the F3 as our top class. Then we are going to have our GT4 cars in as the second class. And our final class will be the GR86 Toyotas. So we have 7 of the 8 cars available to us. For the track, we're going to come over. We are going to the Fuji International Speedway, and we are running the no chicane layout of that. Again, we're going to have 55 drivers. Maximum rolling starts. We don't have to worry about restarts because we aren't going to have any, so we'll turn that off as well. No limit on the fast repairs, as I think we proved that we all need in the first race. Down here, we won't change anything on this page. This is all going to stay the same. Then for our AI roster, we'll select our second race, up our number of drivers, and set our skill spread between 75 and 95, just as we did in the first race. Same thing on our track conditions as well. We're going to start 0 for practice and qualifying, and then we'll carry that over into the race. Then we will have afternoon time and the same multiplier as well. So, yeah, basically almost the exact same settings as the first race, but with a few differences in our cars and our track.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting combination, no doubt, especially with the open wheeler out there. Certainly going to be interesting for our drivers trying to deal with this one. But love seeing that Tyler can walk us through that once again for those that missed the first race. We'll take a look at some of the highlights of that first race that we witnessed with our AI. Pretty clean here, Peter, down into the first turn, but then unfortunately for our human drivers, it kind of went south quick.
It did, yeah. It started off with Tyler Maxton getting really bullied around with that first phase of traffic before our resident Nigel Mansell, Paul Smith, having a little half spin there as well. Interesting watching how artificial intelligence cars get their way through traffic, and sometimes have that little bit more hesitancy that you'd maybe expect from the human drivers, but perhaps a bit more consistent in lap to lap, as is brilliantly demonstrated there by Keenan.
I do like the hesitancy, easy for me to say, to a degree, as there's some of our contact from both human and AI drivers throughout the race, as it promotes safe racing, I have to say. There's great battles for the lead, which unfortunately wound up with our LMP2 human driver at the side of the road at the end. And also, we saw an AI intra-marriage battle there for the win down in the TC cars. But let's talk to you now, Peter, about your thoughts about how the AI racing looks. I mean, we've had it for a number of years now on iRacing, but seeing it in action like this with so many out on the track, what'd you think?
Well, I think it gives you the opportunity to create experiences and create situations that you might not normally come across as well. So if you want to set a load of LMP2s up at Long Beach with a couple of Mazda Miatas in there as well, you can do that. You can set it up to your heart's content. And this, I would always take the view of, I always listen to the view of Tyler Maxton, a proper, pro driver, using that as a tool to prepare for the racing. You can't really get a better endorsement than that, in my view.
And this, I mentioned it earlier that what I love about this is this brings me back to my childhood with the AI rosters and setting up your own seasons. I used to do that a ton back in middle school. So let's take a look at some of the storylines and what we've got up here for the upcoming races here on iRacing, various events. Of course, the big one is the Rikmotech Ringmeister Series. Now, this to me is kind of like for you, Peter, with Porsche, because I just am a huge nerd about this track. I'm the weirdo that can go through and name all the corners as they drive through. So I am super looking forward to how this is going to play out. This is the first time that iRacing is going to have an official series where the car changes from week to week rather than the track itself.
Oh, I'm so excited. This is the series that I'm going to be focusing on myself. Being able to just focus on the most incredible racetrack in the world, the Nürburgring Nordschleife, in lots of different cars like we have here on iRacing. But I want to throw this one to Greg, because Greg, you saw this place before any of us did here in the booth. And could you imagine where we got to that now, where we have a virtual racing series here at the Nürburgring after being back there back in the day?
Yeah, the reason I'm in to racing as such a fan is because of the Nordschleife. I saw my first 2 races there in person ever in the late 60s, and this track is just amazing. You know, you think about driving it in Grand Prix Legends, if you ever tried your hand at that game, and how difficult it was in those 67 Grand Prix cars. And now the technology with, the gaming and just the accuracy, obviously, of all of this, of the laser scans and the like. This is going to be an absolutely phenomenal series. I can't wait for this.
It's funny you mentioned that, because I played a lot of Grand Prix Legends. The very first car I put on the Nürburgring when it came on iRacing was the Lotus 49.
You and me, brother. Love that car. Jimmy Clark was the other reason I'm into racing, so that's such a great connection.
And we heard not long ago, of course, Porsche is going to be back. The Tag Heuer Esports Super Cup will be at Monza. And boy, is that going to be interesting. We just saw on screen, of course, how first lap accidents can happen, even with the pro level drivers there at Long Beach, and Monza notorious for that. It's going to be wild, as even at other tracks, they have incredible side-by-side racing, 3 and 4 wide, these Porsche Super Cup cars trying to battle for incredible prizes up there. And you'll get to listen to our very own Paul Smith on that, who we just saw racing moments ago.
And he's in a chair. He's in a far more comfortable place in.
Exactly. He's going to be calling that. And then we go oval racing. Of course, the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing series at Charlotte Motor Speedway. And so that has been some fantastic stuff over in that series lately, with the next-gen cars putting on quite the show. But going to NASCAR's home track, if you will, over there, where many of the teams test and are based out of. And much like them, iRacing has Charlotte as one of the base content tracks that you get if you sign up. So it comes with your sign up, and many of these drivers have raced there for thousands of laps. So finding an edge is going to be mighty hard. And finally, of course, let's not forget about one of iRacing's newest things that they've delivered out into the world of sim racing. And it's not even in the world of sim racing so much anymore. This is on consoles, the World of Outlaws Dirt Racing. And as someone who actually gets to call and work with dirt racing in real life, this is such a cool game. This is actually great for those of you who are more casual gamers that aren't necessarily looking for the sim experience so much. You can play this on your console, on your Xbox One, on your Xbox Series XIS, the PS4, and the PS5. And I understand they're working to get it on Switch as well. So all different classes of cars that you can race out there. This is going to be fantastic to see. Dynamic tracks. You can work your way up the order. You can do all kinds of career modes with it. And just very fun and cool stuff to get the real experience. A lot of these tracks that are on, all of the tracks that are on iRacing are here in this game as well. So definitely want to check that out and give that a go if you get an opportunity. Go check that out on Steam if you desire as well, because it's also a PC game from what I understand. So drivers, make sure and get your hands on the World of Outlaws Dirt Racing, here made by iRacing and Monster Games. Guys, we're just waiting for the session to get underway here in just a moment at Fuji. Fuji, one of the newer tracks here that has gone through a lot of different changes. We were talking about that, how it kind of actually started as an oval, weirdly enough, and became more of a road course as it was being built when they realized that they really couldn't make it into an oval. And now it's become just this very unique track. It doesn't have the bank turns anymore that it did it once, but the long straight that was there still exists, and that thing is a monster.
It truly is. The amazing thing about it is that initial corner, the Diachi turn, utilized that banking, and Vic Helford talked about that he did a lot of testing working on the Toyota Can-Am car that actually never came to fruition, and he said it was a horrifyingly scary corner. And so as you can see, they've made some serious modifications to this track. When Toyota bought this place, they really changed it up to make it more appropriate for the modern racing.
That they did. And so with a fair bit of elevation change, but also some hugely long straights over only 2.8 miles and 16 turns. We're racing the version without the chicane towards the end of the track here. But it's just at the foot of Mount Fuji. And what's really beautiful, and the other thing that I do love about iRacing, Peter, is if you go into the game, you can actually look up and see Mount Fuji models. Now, I actually tried to, you can do the custom cameras and whatnot. I tried to take the camera over to Mount Fuji. It takes a long, long time for the camera to travel there. That's how much space they modeled here.
You need a faster drone to get there, to get to Mount Fuji. It's a real driver circuit, Fuji. I remember speaking to Cooper McNeil, and he said if he was going to have one lap in one race car, it would be a classic F1 car, and it would be here at Fuji over any other. Of course, host the World Endurance Championships, and you'll visit to Japan, and wonderful undulating circuit, really special.
And the Japanese GT, the 500 that they run there over Golden Week, is a massively popular event in Japan. One thing I wanted to point out, guys, is if you look at that 13, 14, 15, 16 complex, if you picture a much longer straight coming into it to 13 and a 3 apex left-hander exiting 13 and flip it over, you've basically got that sequence at the end of the long back straight at Circuit of the Americas. And the reason I mentioned that is all the mods laid out here that were made to this track were done by a guy named Herman Tilke, who designed Circuit of the Americas and so many other tracks. And he likes to take sequences from Hockenheim that he's admired over the years, that stadium section, puts it into Coda. He also applied it, flipped it over, and used it here a little bit. It's just really interesting how he goes about his track design.
Yeah, and I mean, as much flack as he gets, honestly, I do really love some of his works. And there's definitely drivers that are fans of his as well. As Paul, I don't know about you, but I like this track. I think this is one that he did a really good job of redesigning here.
This circuit is absolutely brilliant, and I enjoy racing around here. I'm glad we're running the version without the chicane, because I think it flows a little bit better without that chicane than with it put in. But yeah, there wasn't too much to change around here, to be fair. I mean, of course, it's a historic venue in world of motorsport. Of course, the scene of the championship finale from 1976 Formula 1 World Championship with James Hunt winning the championship by a single point. But of course, Niki Lauda saying, no, the conditions were too bad. My life is worth more than the championship. And it took a very brave man to make that decision in Niki Lauda. But yeah, it's steeped in history. It's a brilliant track, and you've got that long front straightaway where you can get a real draft down there and really get a good run on people.
Absolutely. Keenan, I'm actually more curious, not about your opinion on the track, but what are you going to do to try and keep from getting beat around by the AI on this one?
So good news, bad news. The good news is that the first couple of laps I did, I think I'm not as far off as I was on GTPs. So I'm going to go with my old strategy in the first race of just try not to get run over in the first couple laps and figure it out as we go. Fuji is a bit better for me. I got a bit more experience here going sideways. This track pretty popular in competitive drifting in Japan, so I'm at least a little bit more aware of it to drive. But yeah, I'm gonna go with that strategy again. Hopefully I don't get TJ majored, and try to keep it clean. I hope the pace difference is a bit different in the F3. It's gonna be tricky for the other humans with the F3s because we're very low to the ground and we'll just show up, I think. So it'll be interesting for sure.
And a reminder for our audience, when you see that purple highlight there on the tower screen, that is our human drivers, so watch out for those. We've got Tyler Maxson as well. Tyler, I believe you're more of a North American driver, so I'm guessing this isn't on the ones you've raced in real life.
No, this is not on the list, but it is a track that I have a decent amount of laps on the sim in, so I know this place-ish. I wouldn't call it my best track, but I definitely wouldn't call it my worst either.
I mean, like you said, not your worst, so that's the best you can hope for here. What's passing going to be like other than down into Daiichi into that first corner? Is it going to be possible elsewhere?
Scary. That's about the best word I think I can put into that. And yeah, in the very few little practice laps that we just did there in the practice session, I echoed Keenan's comments a lot. The F3s are going to be interesting because it's very, very difficult to see them, and they pretty much just show up out of nowhere.
And of course, we've got Blake McCandless, and the last class has 22 cars here for Blake. This is going to be quite a few in there together. Blake, are you expecting things to get a little bit frantic?
Yeah. The one thing with doing a lot of this AI racing, which again, I know I haven't done a lot of endurance racing before, is and one thing the AI is really good for is teaching you kind of how to manage situations in traffic. You kind of get rapid fire experience and what you want to do and how you want to back up or manage things. And well, it'll be a little bit different. The LMP2, I didn't really have a lot of traffic. I wasn't looking in my mirror a whole lot to let other guys by. And then the GR86, it'll be totally different. So get both into the spectrum. And yeah, I actually have someone to race against this time. It's not just AI. I got Paul to try and chase down. I'm not expecting a whole lot, but I don't know. It'd be nice to have a purple name on the pylon to try and chase down in this one.
Yeah, exactly. So both Paul and Blake are going to be in the same class this time. I assume they're going to try and work together once again on this one. So we'll keep an eye out for that. We'll talk to Paul one last time here before we go, since he is in the back yeah, you're going to be starting back of the class. I almost corrected myself, but that's accurate. Paul, you guys have a long straight. Can you bump draft each other? Is that going to be an effective strategy?
I think Blake is putting way too much pressure on me to actually perform to be able to be racing against. I don't know. I think we might need to work together a little bit against this AI because it is tough. It is really tough, and if you can get that dialed in, it can give you a real challenge. Can the AI here on iRacing? So I'm just here for a lot of fun. It's going to be great racing, and it'd be nice to see somebody else out on track this race.
Well, I can tell you, as someone who's gotten to call the real GR86 series, prepare to have your elbows out, sir, because it's going to be hard to make positions up in these cars.
I'm a touring car man by heart, so elbows out is default.
All right, I like that. We'll see how he does as we're getting times on the board now. And currently our pole sitter is Drew Adamson. That doesn't seem accurate. I don't think that's right.
Oh, we can't have that.
No.
Come on, anybody else? Wait, no, he hasn't paid my invoice yet. Go, Drew. Go, Drew.
All right, so we've got the Dallara Formula 3 as our fastest class out there. And 220 brake horsepower. Not going to sound like a lot compared to what we saw before. These open wheelers pack a punch. You're basically 2 down from the Formula 1 level in these machines. So at this point, you're really starting to jump up into serious racing if you're racing these things, as they have a pretty good weight to power ratio, very nimble, and it should be fun to drive. But in multi-class, it's not really what they're built for. That's going to be fascinating to witness how they handle all that. But then, Peter, we've got the GT4s. I love watching the real things race. These things are a handful.
Yeah, GT4 is a wonderful category because it's really close to the road-going machines. I mean, if you take the Porsche Cayman 718 GT4, for example, it's only 100 kilograms lighter than the road car. Similar power, similar gearbox, etc. There's a lot of interchangeable parts. About 80% of the road cars carried over into these machines, but that does mean that they're really relatable as well, as relatable as a McLaren supercar can be. But so we're going to have McLaren 570Ss racing against Porsche Caymans, Mercedes AMG GT4s in there as well, and I think it's a couple of Aston Martins as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how the F3s react in traffic, because they're not going to react very well to contact with a GT car. There's only going to be one winner there, and it's not the F3 car. They are fragile.
And the GR86 is definitely not fragile here, Greg. This is, like I said, going to be really fun to watch, having seen these real ones out here. But what I love is that iRacing helped develop these essentially. Before the real series got underway, drivers and fans could race this here in the sim.
Well, and that's the value of iRacing, isn't it, on so many levels? Yes, it's fun and entertaining, but it can be such a phenomenal tool. And, when there's a brand new series starting and you don't really have an opportunity to do a lot of actual testing, well, you can, get iRacing, hop in your sim. Even if you're just using a pedal set, that's clipped onto your desk or whatever, you can drive the cars, you can get a feel for them, you can kind of get a handle on things even before you get in the real car. And to jump back to the GT4 car real quick, one of the things that I love about the GT4 category is they aren't anywhere near as dynamically sensitive as the GT3. GT3 racing by itself can be kind of processional because they're so aero sensitive. These GT4 cars, they've got good aero, but it's nowhere near as much, so they can draft. You can run up behind somebody through corners and draft a lot better with these cars. I think it's one of the best racing categories on the planet right now, and particularly for GT racing.
Our poll has changed in the meantime. Evan Pisoko is up ahead of not just Adamson, but Vervinkt down in the number 12. So things have been switching around. Cisco Scaramuza as well is very, very close. Top four, only 7/10 between them. Now, if you're waiting for our four drivers that we were talking to before, again, if you missed the first race, they're not going to be qualifying. They're going to be racing from the back. Now, I don't like their chances, Peter, because I thought they were going to blitz through the field, honestly, but it looked supremely tough for them to try and make overtakes before.
Very tough. I think the main reason, the main thing, I think, where the real life drivers, the human drivers, can make the advantage over the AI is in traffic. I think the human has the advantage there, but in terms of consistency and lack of mistakes, well, the AI have got them licked so far.
All right, everybody's got a lap in and qualifying is over. So that means our grid is set here at Fuji. 3 classes, 2 sports cars, and 1 open wheeler. This is certainly going to be something a little bit unusual compared to the real world of racing, but Evan Pisoko, of course, will lead them on that, as he did wind up at the top spot in the end, with Sean Ambrose winding up in second. He snuck that in right at the end. Corey Vervinkt in the 3rd spot will be followed by Drew Adamson in P4. And then Cisco Scaramuza in 5th. Zach Johnson, good enough for P6, as Terry Radford will start in 7th. To his outside, it'll be Camille Salazar-Hadaway. Angela Sinopoli will be in 9th. Kim Ziadik will be in 10th. Then, of course, you've got Jay Kennedy and Ryan Bauer rounding out, with Keenan Cusin being our human driver. What about down in the GT4s here, Peter?
On pole position in the GT4s, it's the McLaren of Susan Flint alongside the BMW M4 of Tyler Hudson. Then it's Alex Gustafsson and Nim Cross with the first of the Aston Martins, Doug Hunt and Cole Baker in their V8 powered machines. Row 4 is the first Porsche of Jimmy Van Been and Steven Corin Penos. Then it's Nate DeZelms and Nick Bailey, with Travis Sollenberger and Hugh Tran rounding out row 6 in the GT4s. And then it's the first of the Mercedes, Neil Shelley alongside Lisa Hudson and Alex Horn and Tyler Maxson round out your 8 rows of GT4 machines.
And our biggest class here in the GR86 is Brian Simpson on the pole with Gardner next to him. Alex Saunders starts from third, followed by Zabini. Christian Challoner, real life, incredibly fast driver. Let's see if his AI can do the same, starting from back behind them. Of course, you got Ben Regan in 7th with Majors and Hill, as well as Chad Nouse, who has his name backwards, I believe. Larry Fulcher is going to be starting in 11th, while Seth Whitaker next to him. Ozuna and Earnhardt on the next row, followed by West and Leone. Dave Kamer, very famous name here in iRacing lore, going to be starting 17th, and Kevin Bobbitt will be next to him. After that, Chris Lurch and Steve Myers. Then you've got Kian Iannarelli, Paul Smith, and Blake McCandless. Paul and Blake, your 2 human drivers, as we get ready to go here for the start of this one. Another short pace lap, thankfully, before we take the green flag and we get going. I have to admit, Peter, I actually wrote Toyota at one point this year, since I get to be the voice of the series, asking, since I've been driving a Toyota in real life for more than a decade now, if I could get maybe a GR86 to drive to the races. I haven't heard back yet. So Toyota, if you're listening, I'm still here. Call me. I would love to get a chance to drive the real car.
I'm sure you would accept a GR Corolla.
That, actually I would. I would take that.
Yes.
I have a Yaris, so it's basically a Corolla Light. So.
Yes, well, we get the GR Yaris here in the UK, but we don't get the GR Corolla, where you guys in the US, you're the other way around.
Interesting. I actually did not know that. Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I'll keep bugging them. I'll see what I can make happen, because I do love the car and I would love to get to drive it. But as we come down onto the main straight, it's going to be a long wait before that Porsche pace car peels off and releases them. What's strange is we do not have Pasoko or Asiatic taking the start. So Sean Ambrose will be taking the green flag here for them. Not sure why the AI did that, but they should be able to start from pit lane just like you can if you do this as a person. As we get ready to go here, waiting for that green flag, pace car is in. And Sean Ambrose is on the loud pedal. Green flag is out, flying down towards turn 1. And Corey Vervink is going to try and challenge him for that lead. He's got the inside. And in fact, he's got to run as they come down to the braking of Daiichi. And Sean's going to jink to the outside to try to open it up, but he's just a little bit too far wide. Somebody off. That is Keenan Hewson.
Don't worry about it.
Keenan. Oh, don't get caught up in the GT4s, Keenan. That is... Go ahead, Peter.
This is the strangest multi-class race with the single-seater cars going around the big GT cars. But you notice, you think 220 horsepower for that F3 car. You think that's not much, the GT4s. I mean, the Porsche's got 425 horsepower, and the F3's just disappeared. It's that lightness that makes all the difference.
Well, Paul Smith also going off with Kevin Iannarelli. So, Paul, you've got that out of the way. That's the last of the problems today, right?
I just want to heat my tires. That's what it was.
Okay, yeah, very smart move. Very smart move. Always thinking ahead, that Paul Smith. So, he's got a lot of cars to pass now as he's last on the GR86s, Peter.
God, those colors look good. Yeah, they look really nice, Paul. Really nice. Yeah, that green and purple, they complement them each other so well.
Let's stand down.
They do.
And I like how Paul, instead of taking the classic driver's excuse, he turns it into a really tasty rationale.
Exactly. But other drivers take note. There's a better way out of it as we continue to watch our battles down in the GT4s. I believe that is Nim Cross getting ahead of Cole Baker there. That's going to be for the 4th position. We watch the 07 of Nim Cross try to play a little bit of defense down into Daiichi. A little bit of an attack from Jimmy Van Veen back there as well, as they all sidle into the first corner once again. Battle for second, I think, in front of them. Doug Hunt and Tyler Hudson. Tyler not looking as close to Lisa this time, and they fly down towards Coca-Cola once again.
Yeah, Tyler Hudson, he got a second place finish in race 1 at Catalunya. He'll be hoping to go one better in that BMW M4, the straight 6 turbocharged motor in the front of that. Very much a conventional kind of sports car and GT car, whereas you got the more kind of supercar of the McLaren. But with the balance of performance, Joe, they really they match together very nicely.
Absolutely, and I have to admit, full disclosure, I'm a big fanboy of McLaren, so I do love the GT4 McLaren. We'll drive it at any chance I can get. So up at the front, Susan Flint flying the flag for me right now, and she'll try and see if she can come away with a victory out here as we come back to the AI in the F3 category. This is towards the back with Ryan Bauer, Hardaway, and Jake Kennedy. But we're going to give a glance now to the GR86s at the top of the field, and they're all just piling through here at the end of the lap. There, we're finally getting towards the end of it, but it wasn't even all of them that we could see in the shot.
Just a massive field of these cars, and that is what's really fun. Is it's a spec series essentially. All the cars are identical, so it really puts the onus on the drivers. So it's an opportunity, certainly for our human drivers, McCandless and Smith, to really be able to shine here just a little bit.
Brian
They'll
Simpson's
start on that anytime soon, I'm sure.
Brian Simpson, the salt is real. Brian Simpson's leading, and Maxon right now, where is he actually?
He's in the GT4 Mercedes, is Tyler Maxon, but most importantly, he's responsible for this ridiculously high standard of AI racers.
Yeah, he's up to 15th now. He's ahead of one. That's a good start here. We've beaten at least one of the AI, and he's trying to bring that Mercedes as high as he can go. As we check in back with the GR86s once again. A little bit of ducking out there as they come into Coca-Cola, but that is a quick flick to the left, and then it switches into 100R, almost never ending, it seems. Now back to our F3 battle for the lead, with Adamson making Vervinkt go a little bit defensive.
And it sounds like they're absolutely slamming into the limiter. Just the car will not go any faster. Full revs in top gear, and in the draft, you can hear that really stalling out there as well.
Well, I think even the real cars that these are modeled after, they can only make the gearing go so high, and I think the straight is just simply too long for them as we go side by side down into the hairpin. Who's going to come out ahead on this one between these two? It looks like Ambrose is going to be able to beat on Camille and take that 7th place away. Going to hop on board here in a sec to listen in to what I was talking about. First, they have to go through Nets and then Panasonic. This is what we were talking about a little bit earlier about being sort of the reverse of some of these stadium sections, such as Coda and Hockenheim. And then switching back for the very difficult Panasonic, rising and rising with a decreasing radius. Nowhere else for those gears to go. And they've got the toe of the GR86s as well. So yeah, bouncing off the limiter, just not quite enough for this track. It's made for a little bit bigger cars, I think.
Oh, it's 1.475 kilometers long, that front straight, so it is a fair old distance. Notice as well, one of the AI is just actually backing out the throttle there, going past the Toyotas. Strangely, just not given quite as much room. I think it's through the traffic that the human drivers definitely have the advantage over the AI.
A little bit of 3 wide maybe here as they're getting held up. Now they're going 2 by 2. Look at this. This looks like a pace lap. This is bizarre. They're battling for position.
I'm on the way. Also, maybe not all the F3s top out, just smiley face. Maybe one specifically does not have that issue. Maybe somebody changed their gearing and it wasn't them. Oh.
So, now they're starting to find their way past, but it's in one of the worst spots for multi-class here. Greg, this is getting a little bit sketch.
Well, and we've talked about it, the fact that these Formula 3 cars are so small, so low to the ground, that they're just going to surprise a lot of these GT cars. And then you can see, look at that move by Keenan. He's threading the needle. He just went by, what, 5-6 cars, and he's got himself one heck of a tow here. Look at him just streaming by the GR86 machines. Oh, this is a massive rundown. This is an immensely long straight. Unreal.
He's gone from 11th to 5th as the others were a bit too timid there on the front stretch. He just plowed by them, and now he's got Angelo Sinopoli, the next one up in front of him. Keenan, how'd that one feel? That had to have been an ego boost.
As soon as I heard the F3s topping out in qualifying, I said, so maybe there's a chance, because I'm on a different setup, so I'm not topping out. That is the only hope I have, because in clean air they are still faster than me. So if I get lucky with this traffic and use superpowers on the straightaway, I might be within a chance of not embarrassing myself this time.
This is looking good. Keep on it. We'll see.
Go away, Angela. You have a real job and a salary. Leave me alone. You can pay your bills. You have a mortgage. Go away.
I mean, what we do counts as a real job.
Yeah, you guys too.
Well, no, we as commentators. You're still one of us, right?
Not. Oh, I need to insult them somehow, Joe, without actually being insulting.
I definitely couldn't pick the driver's seat here. Oh, round the outside.
Yeah, that was a brave move from Angela's AI, and now she's going to try and defend on Keenan. All right, Keenan, you going to go for it?
Goodbye. Goodbye.
There it is.
Goodbye.
But now you got to do that every lap as she keeps overtaking you on the.
Whoa!
Oh! Well then.
This is rude.
Angela's aggression apparently has been turned up.
Angela Schumacher Sinopoli.
Oh! That doesn't look like the traditional line. So we're getting word that apparently Angela also does hair. I'm not making this up. This is what we're being told, and does some of the hair of some of the other iRacing members. That sounds like a great way to save. Meanwhile, what about Tyler Maxson? Let's see.
I'm trying not to struggle.
The try or do or don't do. There is no try.
Oh no, there is definitely a try in this situation.
Car sounds good, at least.
Oh yes, it does. I will give the Mercedes that. It is a very nice sounding car.
Very guttural, this machine. I always love how it sounds in the sim. Let's take a little bit of a listen to this car just to show you the hard work that's done. Do we have one of our sound guys actually in the AI team here? We do not. Oh. Let's give him some love.
Like driving right now, but if you can clear a black flag for me, that'd be great.
Love that sound of the Merc. And Tyler Maxson wielding it to good effect. He's up to 12th out of 16. That's not too bad. So this track actually working out a little bit better in this car combo, allowing our human drivers to try and climb up the fields. We get some more side-by-side once again with Larry Fulcher and Seth Whitaker. That's Fulcher in the 92 with a great run, trying to see if he can edge Seth out through 100R. And he's got the nose ahead. Now it's Chris Leone's chance to try and do something here, Greg.
And of course, yeah, it's all a matter of momentum, isn't it? These guys, the cars are identical, so if you get anything wrong, if the car steps out, you just get offline a little bit, you lose a little bit of that key momentum, and it can just kill you all the way to the next braking zone. So this is one of those other scenarios where you learn to drive momentum, flowing momentum through these corners and hustling these cars around, and this is a classic example of that. Look at the size of this pack.
That was a big move for Leone trying to get in there, but we've got traffic now for the GT4s catching the back of this group. You can see from onboard Doug Hunt, he's in second in the GT4s, and he's just at the tail of the train that we were watching the beginning of just seconds ago.
Well, and Flint had opened up a nice sized little margin in that red, white, and blue McLaren, but traffic, and you guys have already alluded to this, traffic seems to be a little bit of a kryptonite for the AI a bit, and she lost a lot of ground in that run through traffic, and Hunt is now right there.
Yeah, that's costing a lot for the 08.
Look at that run. Oh!
Oh!
Karma! Karma!
Was she, did she trip or was she pushed? I think it might be the latter.
Karma!
It was. It looks like all the classes now coming together.
Oh, this is going to be tricky.
I can tell you that it was a human driver that Angela got together with. Just saying.
I'm at the back. It wasn't me.
It was not Keaton. It was.
I'm falling back here. That's it. I'm innocent. I would have loved to.
It's a name that is often confused with a way to light a room. I will say that.
But handcrafted in Scotland, it's a McCandless.
What do road racing guys say all the time? It was my corner. Oh, that was my corner.
I can't believe Bloke McFlashlight would do this.
Oh, that sounds like another nickname we're going to have to carry on now.
We went 3 wide and we didn't die.
Look at this. This is going to get tricky, especially for these F3s who are going to have to try and take into account the speed or lack of it for both of these classes here, working their way around through nets once more and up towards Panasonic. So far, so good. And Keenan is in amongst there. He's up to third. He's on the podium right now. Hold it together here, Keenan.
This traffic's my only chance, man. They're really quick, especially in mid-corner, and they're not afraid to dive. I have to do something.
I would like to publicly apologise to Jay Kennedy. That's Jay Kennedy. But then again, he did turn across the front of my car, so it's his fault.
I get it, bye, Keenan.
And that's Maxon and Keenan.
Maxon better on the brakes on the big Merc.
I'm letting him have it. If I hit him, my front wheel goes off, my race is over. I'm thinking long game here.
I was going to say, surely an F3 car has better braking than an F4. Well, there you go. F4 apparently can't brake for a BMW because Alex Gustafsson getting the hurry up there from Maxon.
Well, Tyler's in his natural habitat running into the back of slower BMW GT4 cars.
I'm sorry?
Get out the way.
Remind me again, please.
I don't know, but I do want to point out for those that aren't familiar, Tyler does race GT4 cars in real life. We won't say what series, but he does get to race these things out there in a different make of car, but certainly doing quite well here in the Merc. As it's a little bit of a dodge there past Brian Simpson.
Hey, Joe, I've got a quick question for you. Having called the GR86 and certainly familiar with GT4 cars, in the corners, do the GR86s, do they have the ability to roll similar speed in the tight corners to some of these cars? Because I'm seeing that play out here a little bit. In the tight stuff, they get through there really well.
I've never actually gotten to see them race head-to-head like this, so I'm going to have to pay attention to give you an answer. And we had 3 cars that were stuck in the center of the... Paul, heads up. Paul. Yeah. Way to be heads up.
Should have gone out of the way.
Well, there's
My corner.
There we go. Now they're all finally going. Okay.
And now we know why the name is Nouse Chad.
Yeah.
Oh, Tyler getting a bit of his own medicine here from the 35 BMW.
Credit.
Drew Adamson dealing out some martial law.
Credit to all our human drivers. They are farther up the order than what we saw back at Barcelona, so they're doing a great job here. That was Camille Salazar Hadaway and Drew Adamson fighting for 4th. It just went by them.
The AIs have got jet lag from flying all the way out to this long haul race.
Can I just point a finger of blame? Who the hell thought it was a good idea to put Tyler Maxton, professional racing driver, in charge of setting the AI?
Fair point. There's also
That's
two
fair,
Tyler.
fair point.
Oh, there's Tyler Max and Tyler Hudson. My bad. I get the Tylers confused.
Paul gonna try and take one of those free repairs here, I assume.
Oh, I had to. I had steering damage.
You can grab a cup of tea while you're at it.
This looks like one of the longest pit lanes in the history of motorsport,
it
too.
is painful. It is painful as this pit road, I can tell you. And
Wow.
now I've got lap traffic coming. Oh boy.
Oh, a nice view from above to show you. Yeah. Oh, it's the faster F3s. That's gonna be fun.
That pit lane, it looks longer than a week in jail.
It really does.
Are you saying that from experience, Peter?
No, it's just a saying here, so no.
Well, up in GT4, Susan Flint and Doug Hunt still have Tyler Hudson and Nim Cross behind them. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, doesn't Tyler do some of the work with Nim on some of the driver penalty stuff? Esports side, I'm hearing. So that is for the championship level. So yeah, this basically you've got 2 of your iRacing stewards getting close to the front. And speaking of getting close, Doug Hunt starting to threaten Susan.
Well, it looked like those 2 Formula 3 cars that went by sort of cut across Susan's nose, and she had to dip the brake in the AI McLaren, and Hunt darn near got a run at her, guys. And that's brought Hudson and Cross right into this battle.
Yeah, top 4 now are within about a second of each other. Yes, less than a second. There you can see them all on screen as at the bottom.
Hudson making a move on Hunt. Oh.
Just about, but it's going to hurt him because here comes Nim Cross up the inside into nets. Can he make it stick? It's going to switch back to the outside here, Peter.
The nimble McLaren through the changes of direction, but I think the big Aston's going to have the grunt down the straightaway here. As tell you what, though, no, nothing wrong with the straight line speed there. Susan Flint's pulling out of the draft there, and interestingly, number 15 of Hunt not pulling back in there, so the McLaren stays ahead for now. But is this line going to be compromised coming down into turn 1 into Daiichi? Well, it might be. Look for the cutback here from the Aston.
The AI seems pretty smart to me. At least they're not weaving back and forth like the latest trend I've seen to try and break the slipstream. I'll put my
Look who
soapbox
they're
away.
coming up on here.
The
Going to be a
shuffle.
4-car onslaught on Paul's tail. Watch out, Paul.
It's fine. Just out here for a friendly.
Just straighten the steering. Straighten the steering up. There you go.
Just out for a friendly Thursday evening drive, you know, it's nothing serious.
Now, you failed to see the yellow flags. Can you see the blue flags? Did you get those?
It's just advisory. It's just advisory in this.
You just hold your line, Paul. You're doing fine.
Yep. And the bigger question is, driving, are you in the Ferrari? You were a dentist. Are you like a hygienist now?
I think I'm the cleaner who cleans the reception area. That's about where I feel right now.
I was going to say, I think he's a day trader in this car.
There you go. There you go. Oh!
Oh,
So close.
To be fair, the AI does have better brakes than me.
So Tyler Baxton, another one of our human drivers, going to join, but two different classes, remember, between the likes of them. Maxon
I'll
still
have him.
running an 8th.
I'll have him down the straight. It's fine. The power of the Toyota.
At Toyota's home course, too.
No, Tyler, you're cheating. Come back here.
And that's Nick Bailey in behind him. For some reason, Drew Adamson seems to be not up to spec himself. How did this happen?
he's had his hair cut. He's had that trim. Yeah, Angela has given him a trim there. He's gone for the low downforce spec. Let's see how that works out.
I was going to say, that thing's going to be a top fueler down that long straight, but turn one's going to get ugly.
Oh, look at that. Another F3 car hit by a certain GR86 driver. You know who Angela was hit by?
Good Lord, whoever, somebody without a rear wing
Man,
just gave it back to me.
Such a menace out there.
Text in the mail, Blake. Appreciate it, buddy.
So,
eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series, everybody.
Blake McCandless now up to 21st in class. How many more can he take out as we head over to Tyler Maxon once again in the 74, still being threatened by Nick Bailey back there. Actually, no, I take that back. No, Nick is a lap down, so that's not for position.
Oh my
Moment
God.
there for Tyler Maxon.
I just did something real dumb.
Here we've got a replay with Blake McCandless and Drew Adamson, who decided since he's directing the show, he gets to give himself more airtime.
Oh,
Man, did you see him try to go off the curb and to pass me there? I don't know why he tried to do that.
That was quite the ride. And then
So
we got
Drew-
another replay
Drew pulled off.
here.
Oh, sorry.
This is side by side, but I think as... Oh, okay, so Bailey's unlapping himself here. So this is live, excuse me, and that's not for position. That's Maxon, who honestly should probably let him go. Tyler, you don't have to fight him.
Yeah. He has. I blame his fresh tires. That's what we're gonna blame this on.
Just ride his slipstream down the straights or get back in front of him. Okay.
Doesn't have those
Tyler,
tires up to pressure yet, apparently.
having a
Yeah,
few
I think-
moments there, Tyler. Looks like a big old boat to keep on top of. How is it driving?
It's a little loose. I think I had the TC a little bit too low, and yeah, the rear tires have exited the building.
Now, apparently, the stewards need another look at it, so we're going to get another replay of what happened with Blake and Drew. So here's from the onboard with the GR86 of Tyler. So here approaches the blue blur. Coming around the outside.
Yeah, I think he just thought he was clear, and he just wasn't quite able to get there.
That door was always closing.
So I'm hearing that Drew is filing a protest with NIM now. So we'll see if AI NIM considers that one worthy of a penalty. But
I think A&M's a little busy right now.
And for what it's worth, Blake, I thought that move was highly optimistic on his part, and you were going where you were going.
Totally agreed.
Sorry,
Well,
Drew.
it looks like iRacing are hiring a new presenter for the NASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing series.
I thought, well, see, I got, or well, I mean, Drew wrecked himself, you know, off my nose, and then the last race I was battling with Otto, and he and I got together. So yeah, it's not looking too good for me.
Left
Well,
again. Left again. Hi, Paul.
that was cute. So here we're going to watch one more time. Ooh.
I tell you what, that angle is a little bit of compelling evidence there.
I mean, you know, you kind of, you try to track off to the corner there. You know, you try to go all the way out to the curb, and that's kind of the natural line.
You turn left to go right. Was it turn right to go left?
Though. He thought he was clear. I'll give him credit.
I think
really
Drew just likes to watch footage of himself here, is the excuse.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, I do want to mention, we haven't talked about it, Zach Johnson is leading the F3s right now. So kudos to Zach. He's holding down pretty well out there. He's actually a part of this broadcast team right now. So Zach, good job.
And how about Busan up in third, man?
Yeah.
Keenan's doing just walking there in third in this.
I just made some money, says our producer Drew Adamson. Let's go. Oh no, the banana peel. Okay, no, we're good.
Gotta focus. So our producer has just asked Keenan to be the presenter on eNASCAR because Keenan's usually on the Porsche series, so he's going to have to switch around here a little bit. But also catching up to Corey Vervinkt. This is for second place. Now it's a long ways up to Zach Johnson, but a P2. This is definitely on the cards. Going to try and outbreak him down into Daiichi, do it the long way around. The 12 car going to defend, and as they come into the right-hander, can't quite get it done there.
You can hear Vervinkt's car getting into that rev limiter a little bit. Keenan has made a really savvy choice on setup here, and it's paying off big time. Ooh. Oh, my God.
That is Alex Horn once again, who's getting in the way a little bit. Now, Keenan, is the gearing good enough that you could just out-drag him before the finish line and snipe him on the last lap?
I would be lying if I said I would be lying if I said I hadn't thought of that, but I think they've got me on speed. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't giving it everything I've got, just trying to hang on to them. Angela's a lap down, but she's more used to me as tow right now. So if I get lucky with traffic, coming to the end of the race here, something might happen, but we'll see.
Well, you got traffic coming up right in front. That might help.
Come on. I don't ask for much. Oh, big drift. No, that's not in front of me.
Nice save.
Well avoided. Yeah.
Woo.
Well
Good.
done.
Tyler!
You should coach Paul.
Tyler!
So that is going to mean white flag, as I was saying, for Zach Johnson as he crossed the line and is actually getting held up a little bit. So it's down to 4 seconds. That's still a long ways away from both Corey and Keenan. And Keenan now a full 2.5 seconds back, having to take that avoiding action. Now, for the GT4s, Susan Flint is about a second ahead of Doug Hunt currently, and they still have quite a ways to go, I believe.
And a ton of GR86 traffic up in front. And this is where Doug has closed up. His AI has closed up on Susan previously. Boy, did she get a nice run, though.
And
she got bottled up.
This is going to close things in together once again, down to 0.7 of a second as they try and weave their way through that traffic. They're also finding themselves being caught by Zach Johnson a lot quicker. If they're not careful, they could have 1 lap less here. They need to start boogieing.
And Tyler Maxson has worked his way up into 8th in this big GT4 field.
Wow, excellent job there for Tyler. Now,
Yeah,
Zach Johnson's off the final corner now. He is in this group. All he has to do is bring it home, and it looks like he's not going to have any sort of problems here. To the line, the 52 of Zach Johnson is going to be our winner here in the F3s, but Susan Flint carries on for another lap with Doug Hunt, and there with Alex Saunders as well. There's still a battle for the GR86 lead. So both of our slower classes. Sorry, go ahead, Peter.
Oh, the GT4s is going to go down to the wire trying to get through these GR86s. And the McLaren 08 has been in the lead all the way through, but it's going to go down to the very last moment with the Aston in hot pursuit, and it's all going to come down to that. Really come down to that casino shuffle in traffic.
So, looks
And
like
one of the things,
Susan's through.
yeah, and I was going to say, guys, I remember Tyler set up so that the marbles stay on the track. And so this overtaking some of these GR86 cars, if they go offline, we saw in that previous race, a couple of the cars would spin when they get out of those marbles for even the AI machines.
Watching Doug here in the Aston Martin, just a little too far back at this stage, about a second and a half behind with just a couple corners to go. Gonna see Susan Flint take a victory unless she has some sort of major error or hiccup here at the end, and they're going to be followed by Alex Saunders immediately behind down in the GR86s off of Panasonic. There it is. Susan Flint is free to the line in the 08 as she just passes one more of our GR86 Cup cars. Knaus letting her through, and Flint is your winner, as Saunders now your winner in the GR86s as well, rounding out our finishing cars here at Fuji for iRacing Happy Hour. What a fun little pair of races that we had here today. I had no idea what to expect in this one, but this gave us fantastic entertainment, and Zach Johnson was up at the top step there in the F3 cars. Corey Vervinkt was second, with Keenan Kusin finishing the highest of our AI drivers, of our human drivers here in third, starting 13th. Camille Salazar Hadaway was fourth, and Cisco Scaramuza P5. Then it was Sean Ambrose in sixth, Ryan Bauer 7th, and Terry Radford in 8th. Drew Adamson was P9 with Jay Kennedy, the last of your top 10, and Angela Sinopoli wound up a lap down. Pasoko and Ziatic were DNFs, unfortunately. What about the GT4s here, Peter?
Well, it was Susan Flint in the McLaren, a lights to flag victory from Doug Hunt in the charging Aston Martin. Then Cross rounds out the podium in GT4 with Tyler Hudson in fourth, and Jimmy
We
Van
may have to
Veen
debrief here, guys. I'll probably just mute and put some music
Alex
on quiet.
Gustafsson was fifth, and then followed with Tyler Maxson getting up there into seventh place for Tyler Maxson there, with Travis Sollenberger in eighth and Cole Baker in ninth.
And then we get down to the GR86s with Alex Saunders finishing in first. Then it was Brian Simpson in P2. Christian Challoner wound up P3. I said he's usually fast. Ben Regan was fourth, followed by Greg Hill in P5. Otto Zabini was in the sixth position. TJ Majors P7. Miguel Ozuna in the P8 spot. Chris Leone was P9, and Larry Fulcher rounding out your top 10. Loose Lips Gardner was 11th, as Seth Whitaker wound up 12th, and Kevin Bobbitt 13th. Then you've got Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 14th position, and Kevin Iannarelli in the 15th spot. Chris Lurch in 16th. Dave Kamer in 17th, and Greg West 18th. Then Bell, Myers, McCandless, and Smith and Knaus. Let's get our last thoughts from the drivers. All right, guys, you had a chance to try and beat the machines. Some of you did a little bit better than others. We'll start with Paul once again. What's your assessment?
What my assessment is that I proved once again why I sit in the commentary box normally, rather than behind the wheel of a car. But it was tremendous fun. Where else would you be able to have a multi-class race with a open wheel Formula car along with a GT4 car and this GR86? It's really, really fun out there, even though maybe I need a bit more talent.
Keenan, you said you were going to try and redeem yourself. Is third place redemption?
Considering I was 2 seconds off the best lap in my class, I'll take third. Third's good. 3 for Dale. Again, just a ton of fun. IAI is not something that I've kind of messed with a lot, and it's something that I'm coming off of today that I want to do a lot more. I have friends that do AI seasons and total, 12 race championships of AI. I have friends that just commentate AI races. It's really, you could do whatever you want with it if you're creative. So it's something that iRacing is really good at once you get everything dialed in to where it's your skill. Thanks, Tyler. Really cool making us look stupid today. But It's a ton of fun and something that I think I need to use more, and especially since it doesn't cost anything to put up sessions, local sessions. It's a super cool thing to do when you're not feeling like getting punted out of the next Monster race in officials.
Now, Blake, I understand you've got a lot more free time on your hands now. You want to come do some work for GSRC?
We'll see about that, but I'll echo what Paul and Keaton were talking about. Very fun to do. I would say a majority of the AI racing I've done on here has been in preparation for a lot of, eNASCAR, Road to Pro races a couple years ago when I was trying to make the Coke Series. That it was a great tool to prepare, not just to, test and run the laps, but to be able to kind of fine-tune the AI to each track and where you can find speed, how you can try to, make moves in traffic and all those things. So a very helpful tool for that. And I think it's great as well to do something, I got to do today with cars I'm not so familiar with. And it's just a fun and kind of harmless way to be able to learn. And I'm the type of person that I'm not all that enthused about going out and just running lap after lap after lap by myself. That's just, I don't know. I like the competition of it. And whether it's loading into an official session or even using the AI, it's fun to have something to chase or a target to try and chase. And even though didn't really chase anybody down today, it's still a fun time and, fun to come out and do this for sure.
Now, Tyler, 7th place, pretty handy compared to the difficulties we saw up against the AI. If we did this again, would you notch down their speed a little bit, or would you keep it the same?
Yeah, just a little bit. Yeah, sorry guys. But yeah, no, like these guys have said, it's been a ton of fun. The AI is just such an awesome tool that we have in iRacing, and ton of fun to go out and have a situation like this. I mean, like they said, where else are you going to go get a Formula car against a GT4 anywhere else? And I mean, the combinations are limitless with this, and you can have just whatever crazy ideas you've thought of that should race together at some point is possible with the AI, and that's just really the coolest part.
Thanks for doing this with us, guys. It was a ton of fun, hugely entertaining. But we, of course, have our next race coming up here soon. And we're going to take a look at that here. And, actually, first, before we look at that, let's look at all the different cars and tracks. Now, this is actually on the website that we've got on your screen right now. So if you go here, this is every single car and track that is available with AI. So look at those numbers. Now, do the math in your head real quick of how many different combinations, because that's just the tracks on your right-hand side. That doesn't take into account all the different layouts that many of them offer up. Some have more than others, obviously, because it's not every single layout, unfortunately, on each of those tracks listed. But I'd still say that's plenty enough to keep you entertained. This is honestly one of the coolest things that iRacing has added, and just brings them right back to their roots before all of us could sim race against each other online the way we always used to do it way back when I was but a wee boy, as I guess Peter would put it.
Hey, Joe, I have a quick question for you real quick. Sorry, Peter. In the iRacing pyramid, if you will, you don't have to, in this case, work your way up, right? And, get each rating going higher and higher to be able to do this AI thing. If you sign up, you can get the base cars that are included in there, create your own AI race, and be racing that afternoon, can't you?
Absolutely, yeah. Any of the base content. And also, you pointed out the climbing up as well, whereas in normal iRacing, you need to work up to a license level. Now, that isn't too terribly hard. Most people are going to be able to reach to an A license at some point, but you don't need that A license to race against that level of car in AI racing. If you want to go out and have that race, you can go do that in AI in a local session or in hosted. So you can actually get on, and one of those A-class cars is the Mercedes F1 cars. They have two of them right now. So you can hop in, set up an actual F1 list of drivers from any area that you want. There you go. There's the W13E. At knock, of course you would, Peter. And you can go race against a field of F1 cars and pretend you have reached that level and just and live those dreams. So sim racing, honestly, and that to me is what makes sim racing so cool here, Greg, is that it basically takes what so many of us dreamt of as little kids. We all wanted to be the race car driver and get out there and race a car. And the reality is so few of us will get to reach that. But this gives us the chance to be as close to that as we possibly can.
Well, and what's cool to me is there's two different options for it, right? If you want to, one day you just want to feel good about yourself, right? You set the AI a little low and you go out and just throttle the field and you feel good. On the other day, if you want to push yourself to try and get better, you crank that AI rating up a little bit and then go after them. Try and stay with them. Learn from that. I think Tyler put it, all the variations of what you can do with this are truly limitless, and that's exciting.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, everybody, for joining us. We had a fantastic time. I enjoyed the heck out of this one. Just really enjoy getting the banter back and forth, not just with my fellow commentators, but with the drivers. Hopefully, you'll get to enjoy some iRacing. Make sure and sign up, as we'll be back in here in a little bit. And of course, I cannot encourage you enough to sign up here for iRacing. It is one of the best experiences that I have ever had in sim racing. And all these cars are available for you to do this exact thing with if you want. So fun stuff here. Thank you so much for joining us. And again, I'm Joe Peak, joined by Peter Mackay and Greg Creamer. Until next time, race clean, race hard. We'll see you on the track.